Okay, it's starting. Okay.
Okay, so just be aware of how you look into being recorded.
Just one sec.
Tasha, we're gonna do libations shortly. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put you on mute, okay?
Yeah.
Right.
I was just about to say, everybody come off mute because of what we spoke about yesterday.
Hold on, sis. Yeah, no. You can do that still, but I'm just saying for now, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me get me act together. And welcome everybody, as Auntie Jean here. Welcome everyone to the Garvey Villages Unlock the Chains and Keep Well, where our guest presenters gives us the remedies and keys. I also want to welcome those who's watching us on Facebook, and also want to welcome all those who's listening on the Black Culture Radio. If you're listening on the Black Culture Radio, you'll be listening to the Auntie Jean Zone on Black Culture Radio, which is all the W's, blackcultureradio.com. So if you get cut off or you have to leave for any other reason, you can still be listening to us on Black Culture Radio. So welcome to all those listening now. And start off by giving thanks. We give thanks to the Damari. And also, we had a conversation yesterday, so you can unmute yourself to say Ashe, which I say afterwards, after we give him thanks. So you can unmute yourself to say Ashe, or say unmuted for the libation period. But if you are talking in the background, please mute yourself. So yes, I give thanks to the Ludamari, which is creator of all things, creatures great and small, creator of the earth that we stand upon, the air that we breathe, the sunshine that gives us life, and the water that gives us life as well. I also give thanks to our Ori, which is our head, which give us the intuition to know what's right from wrong, and to know is something that we need to go for or not. A lot of times we don't listen to our heads, but we need to. I give thanks and call on our ancestors, the good ancestors that got taken away from the shores of our home many, many, many years ago. And I say good ancestors because not all of our ancestors were good. You know, some betrayed us. So the good ancestors I call upon to say thank you for having the tenacity, having the strength, having that willpower to carry on and to keep on going through all the atrocities, all the hurt, the shame, the killings, everything that they went through and everything that they've seen, everything that they've witnessed. I give thanks for the fact that they had that tenacity to carry on through seeing people's lives being taken, through seeing people take their own lives because of not wanting to have to go through what they don't know what's going to be in store for them, for what they've already witnessed. So I give thanks for the fact that they had that tenacity and that had that willpower to survive, because if it wasn't for their survival, we wouldn't be here today. So for all those ancestors, those good ancestors that had that tenacity and that strength to carry on, I say thank you and Ashe.
Ashe.
I also say thank you to our leaders, our heroes, our sheroes, our warriors. And as you can see, my favorite is the Right Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, who has given us the black print for us to follow. And everybody can take up just a little piece of that mantle. I'm not asking that everybody do everything that he did, because I don't think there's anybody else who could top what the Right Honorable Marcus Messiah has did or accomplished in his time. But we can take a little piece, and you're going to hear some people have taken that little piece of that mantle and moving with it. So we have to give thanks to all those leaders, heroes and sheroes who's opened those doors, made those pathways for us. Let us know that we can rise up. Let us know that we can say no. Let us know that we can go for what we want to go for. And given us the willpower to do that. So for all those leaders, heroes, sheroes and warriors, names that we know, names that we don't know, names that we may have forgotten, and names that we will never know, but they all help to play their part in moving us forward. So for those ancestors, I say thank you and ashe.
Ashe.
I also say thank you to my lineage. I say thank you to your lineage. I say thank you to all the good ancestors whose heads and shoulders who we all stand upon. The good ancestors that's there with us from the time we're born, right through to the time that we pass over to the ancestors. Those good ancestors that's there with us, even though sometimes we feel that we're alone, you know, rest assured we're not alone, they are there. And they're also there for us to call on them for help, advice, guidance. So when we do call on our good ancestors for help and guidance, also ask that when they give us the answers, let their answers be as clear as water, and let our mind be open to receive those answers, because those answers are going to come in many different ways and many different forms. It will come in a sign, it can come in a message, it can come in words of a song, something that you've opened a book and you read some lines that will resonate with you. So let our minds be open to receive those signs when we have actually asked our ancestors for help. So for our good ancestors, whose heads and shoulders who we all stand upon, I say thank you and ashe.
Ashe.
And this is the time I take the opportunity to say thank you to my grandmother, Stefan Bailey, who's been with me all the way. I never met her in real life, but I've been told and I know that she's there with me as my guidance. So Stefan Bailey, I say thank you and ashe.
Ashe.
And I also say thank you to my grandfather, Hubert Stair, who we all call Mr. Stair. He was there, a great influence in my life as well, and let me know who my family is. So Hubert Stair, I say thank you and ashe.
Ashe.
And I also say thank you to my mother, Iona Pinnock, and my stepfather, Ivan Pinnock, because if they weren't the people who they were, I wouldn't be the person who I am. So I say thank you and ashe.
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 And I'm opening up the floor to anybody who would like to say thank you to loved ones, friends, anybody that's passed, anybody that they know. I've just been told that the Queen, the Zulu Queen, has died also, whose husband died not too far, the King of the Zulu King who died not too long ago. So I say thank you and ashe
Ashe.
for their lives. Sister Patricia, you have your hand up.
Yes, I'd just like to give thanks and appreciation to my mother's mother, Mary, mother and father, Mary Brown and Thomas Brown.
Ashe.
My father's mother and father, Emma Pell Palmer and James Palmer.
Ashe.
My father, Luther Palmer.
Ashe.
Ashe.
My brother Kenneth, my sister Monica,
Ashe.
aunts Lynn, Kathleen and Clarice,
Ashe.
and my Uncle Brenton.
Ashe.
All the love of my life who've gone on before me.
Oh.
Thanks.
Ashe.
Ashe. Has anybody else like to say thank you to anyone that's passed, or loved one, or somebody who's passed, is in the past, that's passed, that I'd like to say thank you to? Okay. And with that, I will say, okay, thank you. And I'm going to move on now to introduce you to our sister Marvina, who is going to be basically taking over this section, because this is about galvanizing our youths. And this is a brainstorm of our very own Marvina, who is one of our managing directors of the Garvey village. So Sister Marvina.
Sorry, Mighty Jean, she's not in, she's dropped out.
Oh, she stepped out.
Yeah.
Okay, then I have the pleasure of introducing our sister Tashi and her son, Cairo. I can see you there. So brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So I'm just in awe of both of you, to tell you the truth. So I don't know who's going to start. Is brother young Cairo's going to start? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, then. So young brother Cairo, please introduce yourself. Let people know who you are and what you do and what you are doing. The screen is now yours, so welcome.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Cairo from Cairo Creams, and I'm 11 years old. Right now, I've been working on my business, which is called Cairo's Creams. Our business is I sell skin products. I sell shea butter, aloe vera, and coconut oil, which is another one of my creams, avocado and hemp oil, and also mango and apricot oil with mango essential oils.
Sounds like
My
food enough to
cream
eat.
Well, technically they are edible.
Yeah, wonderful.
My creams are very good for the skin and also very good for the hair. And we're also selling exfoliation scrubs, which are very good to get rid of dead skin cells on your face. Right now, we have got, for my shea butter, we have got this whipped version, which is a lot more lighter in consistency, and I would recommend it for hair, and it's very good for hair.
Okay.
Keep going.
We've also got the solid version of this one, which is a lot better for skin.
Do you want to talk about the texture of this one? I don't know if you can see it. Do you want to explain consistency?
So this one's a lot harder, a lot firmer than the shea butter one, but as soon as you put it into your hand, it's almost like it melts in your hand, which makes it a lot easier to rub on your skin.
Okay.
How did you start Cairo's Cream? You're going to tell everyone how you started Cairo's Cream.
Well, I started Cairo's Creams in August, around about the first lockdown, because I was thinking, in lockdown, I was just really bored. I had nothing to do. I was literally just sitting in the house all day. So I was thinking of ways I could get a bit more pocket money. And I was thinking of loads of things like baking, cooking, car washing, everything. But then I realized that I wasn't necessarily any good at them stuff. So I was thinking, what am I doing now which I could make a business out of, or I could make money out of? So I remembered that I've been making these creams at home for the past couple of years. So I asked my mum if I could make a business out of it, and then we just went ahead with it. And then for the first few weeks, I was just like telling all my family and friends about my business so I could get my name out there. And then I started to set up my Instagram account. And then I used to get about 10 orders, which was quite a lot for my first few weeks. And then I just kept on growing and growing.
Wow. Wow. So how did you get into making creams?
Well, my mum really taught me the recipe, because me and my sister used to have really bad dry skin. So my mum used to be making research and a lot of things about it. So like things like aloe vera oil, which is very good for, because it has inflammatory properties in it, which is very good for skin. And coconut oil, as it locks in all the moisture to make your skin even smoother. So we just did a little bit of research so we could decide which would be the best to help with dry skin. So we decided to blend a few things together, almost like a little science experiment.
And it worked. So did it work first time, or did you have quite a few goes before you found the formula that you actually use now?
Well, we was like deciding a bit, because first we were just trying to figure out. So first we were just like experimenting a bit with it, and then we realized that there was actually quite a difference with it, and then that's when we decided to keep on using it.
Okay.
So it was like getting the right consistency.
Yeah.
We got used to using like Palmer's coconut butters in the house, so we wanted a similar consistency. It needed to be safe, it needed to be a general, and it was important that we was kind of using organic. We wanted it to come away from the shop owned products that do contain a lot of toxins, contain a lot of chemicals, even though a lot of the time they will say it's organic and it's natural. When you actually read the ingredients, a lot of times it actually isn't. It consists of a lot of preservatives, so that it has a longer shelf life. So that's when we really started looking as a family, looking at organic, homemade products that are good for our hair, good for our skin. And we always had the notion that if you could eat it, then it's definitely good enough to put on
That's
our skin.
most right.
If you cannot eat these products, then you shouldn't be putting it on your skin. It's that simple. So
Yeah.
although we're not advocating for people to start,
If you're hungry, just start eating Cairo's creams, yeah.
but technically, you can. It's safe to do so. It's safe to do so. So, do you want to say talk about how the things that you have to do in order to get your product out there in terms of the research and the skills?
So I had to get a level 2 health and packaging certificate. So, and through that certificate and from the test I had to do, I learned about cross-contamination, about how everything needs to be in like different shelves, so nothing can be touching each other. So say that I've got like maybe shea butter and a mango next to each other, I need to make sure that them two stay in like maybe, let's say, the separate bowls or separate shelves, so we know that these two are definitely never touching each other, just in case anyone had any allergies, then we can't be held responsible basically, because we have kept them distance.
And what about cleanliness and hygiene?
I need to wear my gloves, my mask, and my apron at all times whenever I'm making the creams, and things like that, just to keep on the safe side and make sure that nothing could ever go into my creams which could make it bad or anything like that. So I've always got to wear everything.
And what's my number one rule about the kitchen?
It needs to stay clean up. They have to like clean it as soon as we've done making my creams, then they have to wipe down the surfaces and all of that stuff, just in case you was to go and make some other creams different.
Yeah. That's very good. So what does your friends think about your creams? Are any of your friends your customers?
Yeah, they are actually. I remember once, like, one of my primary school friends, when I started high school, they always came up to me and we had one of my lip balms and we said, "Hey Cairo, look, I bought one of your creams." And then like everyone's been really supportive of my business actually, and so I have my school in general.
Wonderful. So when you have a bazaar or something at your school, would you have you had your creams out yet?
Not yet actually, because we haven't really had any of them sort of activities or any of them sort of things for me to bring in my things into school yet.
Okay, so that's to come.
Sorry, Auntie Jean. Just to let you know that Marvina's back in the room. She's 1, 2, 3 back in the room. Also, Sister Vinetta has asked, where can we buy your products as well?
Well, you can go onto my Instagram page, which is Cairo's Creams _, and then you can get my creams from there.
Okay, can you put it into the chat? Mum, put it into the chat then, so that we can see where to buy your products. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that, Cairo. But I'm gonna come with some of the hard questions and just say, what is the hardest challenge with setting up your own business? Because there are other 11-year-olds listening to this and they're thinking, "Oh my gosh, Cairo's done it." Walk them through the process of what they need to be thinking as a young person if they wanted to set a business up.
Well, one of the hardest things would probably also, because some days like you just won't want to do it, so you get really tired and then you just wouldn't really want to do it. So there's these things, and also it's really tempting to like spend your money, because like as soon as you start to see like all of the money coming in, you're really tempted to like take some money to the shops, and you need to remember that you just need to keep on reinvesting it into your business, so your business can grow even bigger, so you end up getting even more money.
Okay, I like that. But even with that being said, can you give them some tips that you use to motivate yourself? And this does not include mummy. What do you do to make yourself, when you're at that point when you're like, I've got homework, I've got after school club, I've got all these different things, but I still have an order? What do you do to motivate?
Well, I'll probably just say to myself, as soon as I've done this order, then I'll be able to like almost take a break. So if I was to leave it till tomorrow, then then there might be even more orders, so it will just keep on getting busier and busier. So if you keep an attitude like, "Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow," then it will never get done, so your business will end up failing and it'll just end up going downhill. So you might as well just get it done right now, and then you'll finally be able to like chill out of it. And even if there's loads of orders, then as long as, even if it's like, say that you've got 10 orders, maybe if it's like you'll do 5 today and then 5 tomorrow. So sometimes you don't even have to do them all in the same day, but it's just like, it's a lot easier though.
Cairo, I'm still blown away by you. I've been in markets where you're selling your products and your stall is like one of the highest, busiest stores ever. And you're like the hostess with the mostest, like the host with the most. What's your marketing strategy? And your social media is popping, literally. What advice would you give to people around social media and interacting with customers as a young person?
Well, as a young person at a store, then I would just advise you to like always try to keep a smile on your face, always like engaging customers. Like, say that you see someone walking by and then they take like one glance at you, you might have to like reel them in, like saying like maybe it's just like a hi, or you show them products a bit so you can like reel them in.
I like the way you said reel them in, like, yeah, definitely. So what's the next big thing for Cairo's products? Tell me all the different ranges of stuff you have, first of all. What are all the different things you create with Cairo's cream?
So we've got the shea butter, aloe vera and coconut oil, solid version. This is a solid version. And then we've got the exact same ingredients, but this is the whipped version. And then that's the shea butter, aloe vera and coconut oil one. We've also got mango butter and apricot oil. We're also with mango essential oils, which gives it that nice smell. We've also got the avocado butter with hemp oil, which is very good for hair, and it's also very good. So say that you're quite old and then you've got like wrinkly skin, it's also nice to make it softer and a bit more smooth. So that's what the avocado one is really good for. We've also got all of my creams, but in sizes like this.
250 ml.
Yeah, this one is 250 ml. So that we can get all of my creams in this size. And then we have also got my exfoliating scrubs, which are really good for putting it on your face when you've got dead skin cells. And it's really good to just get rid of all of them dead skin cells. And say that you're like near my age, 12, 13, it's good to say that you're like getting spots because of puberty. It's good to get rid of them. And then we've also got the lip balm here, which is really like, it's like a pocket size, so it's a lot easier to take it everywhere you go with you.
And that's vegan friendly. Tell about this. Vegan friendly, organic.
This is vegan friendly, organic, vegetarian, everything.
And what are the prices? Because I know you showed it to me, but like, what are your price ranges? Because like you showed all the different containers, but how much a day? So if people are listening and thinking, okay, I want the jar, because that has like a recycling thing to it, but do you want to tell me about it?
Yep.
All the different price ranges.
So the vegan lip balms, £2. So you can get these for £2.
And one of the important ingredients in the vegan lip balm is that it's got soy wax rather than beeswax. So it's, so that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, because I know that vegetarians and vegans, they can't really use beeswax. So we just decided to like think of the next best thing, or maybe even better than beeswax, which is soy wax. We've also got this 100 ml sizes, and you can get this in whipped for £5.50, and in solid it is £5. And you can also get this in mango for £7, and avocado
£8
for £8. We have also got these, which are
that's the 250 ml. This is £8, but one of the things that Cairo's starting to learn is that the practicalities of posting glass is actually quite expensive. So he limits the glass use to when he's at his stalls, so you can only collect them in person, because we've had a few incidents where they've actually got damaged in transit to customers. So we've stopped actually selling these, haven't we, online, but you can get them at his stalls, and he's selling his products at local barbers and salons and certain stores in Leeds.
And you can also get a gift set which contains 1 vegan lip balm, 2 100ml, and 1 glass one for £20. And it can also get a family size for £20 as well.
Wow. Cairo, be honest to you, I always tell you you're my claim to fame, like, because I just think you just phenomenal in every way. But you also you won an award recently for young entrepreneur. Tell me about that, like, because we all are in awe of you, and I know loads of questions are going to flood in, but tell me about the award you won and why you won that award, because that's a new award and there was like a lot of challenges, and you just started your business and you won that. What award was that?
I won the ACAP award, and when I got that award, I was actually like really surprised and really excited, because at that time I hadn't really been doing it for that long. I wasn't even doing it for a year yet, so I was really excited, and I was like surprised that I got it already. I was just really happy as well.
You're just phenomenal. And tell me about your ambassador program, because you are now an ambassador for something, but I'm going to let you go into detail a little bit about that.
Yeah, I am the ambassador for South Africa, which is like agriculture. So it's like farming, and it's trying to get everything fair trade and also sustainable. So it's easier when it's sustainable. So you have to worry about future years getting like pollution from it. So it can last for like years and generations, so a long time. And also it's trying to get fair trade. So all of the producers of all the shea butter from which I get from the shea butter, instead of them getting like nothing from what I buy, they can get most of the money because they've done all of the hard work. And yeah, and it's very good. And it's also based in Kenya.
That's beautiful to know that you're looking at paying it forward and also reinvesting back in Africa. What made you think about that? What inspired you to do that?
Because if you think about it, without all of the places in Africa like Kenya and Ghana, where I get my shea butter from, I wouldn't really be able to make this business for that. And all the people I've helped with like skin problems, they wouldn't be able to get any of my creams. So and also it's like paying back. So say that you had a business and you were selling people things, but you sold it to someone else and you got none of a cut. It wouldn't really make you happy, would it? Because you've done all this hard work for nothing.
Cairo, God bless you and bless your mom, man. I swear ancestors are proud of just listening to you. But I know this part of you, but I want you to talk about some of the stuff that I know you talk about when it comes to Black History, Sundays, like Saturday schools, because you're one of those big advocates on encouraging young people to learn more. Please, can you teach us the importance of children and young people knowing more about their Black history, and take your time and just like give us some aspects of that?
Yeah, well, you should know about your Black history, because think about it, all of these Black people you've been taught about, you wouldn't really necessarily be taught about them in school, would you? They're always teaching you about, to be honest, lies like about Christopher Columbus finding America when he didn't really find America. Oh, I said West Indies, sorry. Like, he didn't really find anything, did he? Like, these are all lies they're telling you, and they wouldn't really teach you any Black history. So think about it, all of these Black history people, all of these Black people in history, icons, these are all our history. These could, for all you know, these could be your relatives, these could be your great-great-great-granddads, grandmas. You could be related to any of them. So think about it, if you was in history, wouldn't you want people to know about what you've done? And they've helped so many Black people. They've helped with slavery, all of these Black scientists, Black sports, because whenever it comes to Black History Month, I'm going to be honest, in school, all the teachers about is like Usain Bolt. Like, I'm not saying that it's not good and all, but I want to be learning about more about the scientists, not only about slavery, but about all of the famous scientists, all of space, like all of that for Black History Month, not just in sports.
And what does it do for your self-esteem knowing bits? So when you learn about Tucson Levichor, when you learn about, you know, when we talk about, you know, Marcus Garvey, we've learned about even Selassie, because that's a connection to your grandfather? How does that make you feel, knowing you've got a strong legacy?
Yeah, like it's almost like saying to me that if I have all of these people who I know about in my history, I should be try to be even greater than them. I should try to put my own name in the history books. Like, so it just makes me inspired to be even better than what I already am, to just keep on growing and growing so I can be in the history books myself.
You will be.
You will be. Wow. And I know I'm just asking you questions, but like, hi everybody, my name is Marvina. I'm sorry I was late. I just saw Cairo. I was on here and the internet took me off and I'm back again, but we are presenting to you African Youth Matter, just a reminder for those who are listening. And Cairo is just another extraordinary Black excellence in its natural raw form. But behind every child that speaks like this comes phenomenal parents. And I know loads of questions are about to be asked, but I'm going to go straight to Tashi first, and then they come as a double package. So at the end of when Tashi has finished speaking, I think it would be great to open the questions to everyone here to learn and ask and about how phenomenal she is. But Tashi, one of the reasons I was drawn to you from day one, just because I seen how your son always, for World Book Day, you always used to pick an African character. It was just World Book Day. I'm telling you, she goes out from the costumes to the speeches that he gives. And I just used to just think, how? Let's start from there. Being the mother of African heritage children, what's the importance of impacting history on them?
You have to, I genuinely, honestly believe that how can you walk forward and navigate through a society and a world where you do not know your history, you do not know that you come from legends, from icons, that our history is rich and that our forefathers were the strongest people on this planet that dealt with so many challenges. And it's important that we educate our children and not rely on the European academics. It's important we don't rely on the education system to educate our children, because there's a deliberate act at the minute. It has been for centuries. And I say that not to insult anyone. I say that in saying that our children are not taught even the basic essential things that they need to strive in their adulthood, which is learning about finances, which is learning about credit history, which is learning about investment, the difference between being self-employed and having a limited company, the difference between tax. These are just very basic lessons that our children are not being taught in school. Then when you mix into that cultural needs, a group of people's needs, and the importance of having an identity in a world where the narrative is one of negativity. There's this agenda when it comes to the portrayal of the Black man, of the Black woman being the aggressor, the Black man, children coming from single parent homes and all these damages. For me as a parent, it's always been important that I teach my children every single thing that I know, everything that I wish I knew at their age, and the things that I want to learn, we're going to learn it together. So I use every single opportunity as a learning opportunity in the best way I can. So I try to make it as fun as possible. But when it comes to my children presenting themselves in any institution, whether it be school, any youth clubs or anything like that, it's important that they have a strong connection to their heritage, which is African, which is Caribbean, which is Jamaican, Castilian. It's important that they acknowledge their roots. So World Book Day, the books my children read in the house are ones of iconic figures throughout history. You know, my son learned about the Haitian Revolution. So when we were looking at World Book Day, it was like, well, we've got a book about Toussaint Louverture's on the front cover. How can I recreate that image for my son to go to school and use this as a learning opportunity. So my son had to learn about the Haitian Revolution. He had to learn about Toussaint Louverture. He had to learn about, you know, Fatima, what is it, Fatima Cecile? He had to learn about these iconic figures throughout history, so that when he was challenged by his school teachers saying, so who are you dressed as then? I'm not familiar with this character. He could confidently say who he was. Well, I am this person. And we made him walk with the book so that the school couldn't challenge his portrayal of this book character. And we've done that every year. Every year we set out to find a new character to learn about. So the following year it was Selassie. Oh, the Mansa, yeah, we did Mansa Musa. So you had to learn about Mansa Musa being the richest man.
Selassie.
That's it. Then we did Selassie. And these were really, really important parts, wouldn't it? When we're learning together, we're learning as a family, but we're making it fun. So then he will remember this, he will attain that information, but then also he's presenting himself to his peer group, to his school, as a young Black male that understands where he comes from. So we're not getting dressed up as your stereotypical, you know, no disrespect to your football players or your sport athletes, they're great and they have a place, but these are not our only heroes and sheroes. So yeah, we've always used any learning opportunity we can.
I think everyone's going to be sitting there thinking, this woman's phenomenal. Who is she? Like, who is she? Where did we find her for? I want to give you this opportunity to just tell us about you, because I can brag about you, but I wouldn't do it justice because I know how diverse you are. And Cairo is literally, with our ancestors' help, is going to blow all of us minds away because he's successful already and he's only 11. So I can't imagine what the future is. Well, who is the queen behind Cairo? Let's learn about Tasha Brown. Can you just give us your background, like, and take your time and just let us get to know you?
Well, I'm from Leeds. I'm a mum of 2, so I have a 21-year-old daughter and I have Cairo, who's 11, soon to be 12. I have had a very diverse CV, so to speak. So as a youngster, I studied science, psychology in school, went on to do a degree in counselling, but then fell pregnant at the age of 20, where I had my first child, and actually dropped out of university at that point. Life for me at that point was really difficult because there was all these stereotypes. Oh, you're a young mom, you're going to amount to nothing. I came from a single family household, so it was, to my mum, who was quite strict, it was pretty much one of the worst things that I could have done. And I say that in saying that one of my best gifts that ever happened to me was being a mum, and especially having a daughter at the age that I did. She really motivated me to make sure I made something of myself. So I worked really hard with just kind of holding down the home, doing the things that I needed to do. I continued to study. I did multiple jobs, became a sexual health advisor for an organisation in Leeds. Then from there, I became an estate agent. Then my career took a different turn where I ended up doing modelling for many years in London. Travelled with that, did bits of TV work, and realised actually that environment was very toxic and it wasn't an environment that I was genuinely passionate about. I kind of stumbled upon that career. And at that point, living in London, when you have to really reevaluate your life and think to yourself, what is my purpose? What is my goal? What am I going to do? But more importantly, I am going to be my children's biggest example. They are going to learn and see everything from me. That means my home is their number one environment, where they will become a product of this environment. So what environment am I creating? And I had to really dig deep and think to myself, what am I going to do? So I studied beauty therapy, and that's when I entered the world of the funeral industry. So my actual career profession is I'm an embalmer. I've been working in the funeral industry for many years now, for 11 years. I started that industry going on 12, started the industry when Cairo was literally a few months old. Worked my way up, became a funeral arranger, became a funeral director, and then trained as an embalmer. I also went on to study a degree in media makeup and special effects, because I realized that within that industry, there was a massive disservice to ethnic minorities, especially African Caribbeans in particular, the way we were presented in our afterlife, the way we were presented in our coffins. There was this very lack of understanding of our pigments, of the importance of moisture, you know, excuse the pun, but the importance of presenting our loved ones the way we're used to seeing them. You know, I couldn't understand how comes the majority of African Caribbean people that I would see always looked grey. Why did they look grey when they passed away? I couldn't understand that. So the more I started to learn about embalming and what it does and the preservation and presentation, I realized actually a lot of this is because people do not take the time out and train in areas that don't affect them. So it's not really, because it's a very aging career or profession, it's getting a lot better, and it's becoming a little bit more diverse, but you know, it still needs to, there's a lot more work that needs doing in the industry. So it's a very white male, quite middle class profession. And when you look at that demographic of that particular person who runs these funeral homes, are they going to take that time to really understand how to deal with Afro hair? Are they going to understand how to disguise that greyness that you're seeing on a loved one? So I just started to train and educate myself in that field, and then I started doing crisis work. So I'm part of the British crisis team, so I get deployed when there's big disasters internationally around the world, and that's when there's cases with large amounts of deceased, because it poses a threat to the country. So I will then go and be in that country and help that government or community deal with the high number of deceased that are decomposing in one community. And that has been really refreshing to actually go on an international level from a professional perspective, where you're dealing with governments and agencies that specifically deal on the global market. It's been fantastic. It's been a really learning opportunity. And then now I'm working as an advocate for people that are victims of human trafficking and modern slavery. And I also have an organisation called Team Creative, that is an organisation that supports young people in particular, but all people from the African Caribbean background, to help with their mental health, to help with integrating them into activities that are productive. We do summer camps, we do healthy eating projects. And I honestly believe that you have to make sure you're not becoming complacent in life, and that you have many different skills and revenues where you can hopefully bring an income. And if it's not an income, a lot of my work is voluntary. But if it's not bringing in an income, it's bringing in transferable skills, it's bringing in opportunities. And I go back to being a parent. My children are watching every single thing that I do, good and bad. They will turn around to me and say, well, Mum, you did that. Mum, well, you didn't do that. This is what children are very known for. So for me, it's important that I am showing them that things can be done. You can manage your time. You can give back to others. You can inspire others. But it starts with us within our home. What are we doing within our home together that is creating a legacy for our family, just our direct family, but our wider family, which is the community? So a lot of the things that I'm involved in, especially my organisation, Team Creative, started by just me having activities for my children to do. But I honestly believe that don't wait for other people to create these opportunities, try and create them yourself. So got to a point where, you know, my daughter is becoming a teenager, and it's like I need to get her involved in activities, but I didn't want the activities to be too whitewashed. I wanted to make sure she's surrounded by people that look like her, people that are going to understand her, people that are going to help inspire her, people that she can learn from. And it's important that they have that diverse upbringing, because they're already getting a lot of white culture by being in mainstream education, which is, it's fine, but they're already congested with that. The TV, the media, the majority shows that they will watch do not represent people that look like them. So I have to really balance that out by making sure I am supplementing their cultural needs, their spiritual needs, and their academic needs by making sure they're involved with cultural activities and people that are going to talk like them and walk like them and look like them, so that they can be inspired. But it's the right type of people. Sadly, we need to make sure it's the right type of people. So Team Creative allowed me to create that opportunity where we're making things together in the community, we're involving other community people, and they get to see how other people live, good and bad, and they can see how privileged they are, but at the same time they can see how much more work needs to be done, and we cannot wait for other people to create these opportunities for them. So this is why it's really important for me. So yeah, so that's me in a nutshell. Just do quite lots of things. But
Tasha, that nutshell is so bigger than that, but I like the fact you summarized that even as tidy as that. I think when you talked about deploying, I would just love you to highlight somewhere you've been deployed to recently that really made a difference in our community. And a lot of people might not know. So I think for sheroes like you, and for a lot of African women, we don't celebrate ourselves, really. We don't. And I want to celebrate you today, because you are bang on. Nothing can compare with the work you give back to the community, and even with Team Creative. So celebrate some of the explicit work that you've done when it comes to being deployed to these areas, because you did get deployed and did some humanitarian work that changed and saved people's lives. Also celebrate Team Creative and some of the big work that shows that people might know. That I'm loving the humbleness, but I want you to kind of do that so they know the scope of who you are. If you don't mind.
It's difficult because, the truth of the matter is I am around some amazing women as well. And, my mum used to tell me growing up as a kid, you are known by the company that you keep, and it's simple, and it stays with you till however old you are. So if you are the greatest person in your circles, you really do need to change your circles. And I really would tell anyone that, my own children, that make sure you surround yourself with other inspirational, motivational women that are very progressive, and do not measure someone's success by awards or their financial successes. It's about how they make other people feel, and about what lessons they're sharing, that they're teaching, and that they're giving. So I had the honor to be called upon the flight crash, unfortunately, in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, and I was part of the disaster recovery team. And I got the phone call probably a few days after the plane had crashed, and within a matter of days, I was out in Addis Ababa with an international team and Interpol for almost, 12 months? I was out there like 4 months at a time, and I'd come back and then I'd go back out there. And it really was to make sure that we try to make sense of what was happening. There are some times in a person's life, no matter how you lose someone, you cannot explain that feeling of loss. But when you lose someone in such a horrific way, in terms of there's no explanation, there is no answers, there is like, this has just happened, and I can't have any closure because I don't have nothing at the moment to actually bury or have any kind of ceremonial service for my loved one. It's devastating. And I was called with the international team to work on the recovery of the souls that was on that plane, and it took months. And I don't want to go into too much detail about it because it is really sensitive. You never know who's listening, you never know who's watching. These are people's loved ones, and I always have to make sure I maintain a utmost level of respect. But part of our recovery is to deal with the psychological, deal with the physical, so physically recovering, the remains of loved ones. It's a process to do with psychological. We have to have direct contact with the family members, and we have to have really difficult conversations with them. We have to deal with governmental officials. There's a lot of politics in terms of insurances, all kinds of things. Is a massive project, or not project, but it's a massive work that's involved when you're dealing with that type of work. But what it does, it humbles you. It humbles you, because this is the worst type of scenario that you could be in my opinion, and you see the aftermath. But it shows you where your skills lie, how that when you're forced in a very diplomatic situation.
Sorry, sis, your audio just changed just now. Can you just help me just check that, please?
Is that better? Can you hear me?
It's still a little bit different now. Let's see. Talk to me now.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back on properly, but it's okay. I can still hear you. It's just that it's changed, and just
Right.
better now. It's there.
Okay.
There.
Good.
That's it.
Good. So yeah, so it's a mind-boggling experience, and I keep going back to our community, the Black community, the African Caribbean community. There are so many different fields where we are underrepresented, but we actually have so much skills to be able to deliver. Now I'm doing my master's. I'm 1 module away from graduating. And I'm doing my master's in humanitarian and crisis disaster management. And part of that is this whole white savior sort of culture that the humanitarian sector has. Now, these are quite elite people that are in a fortunate position where their finances are okay, so they can actually backpack away and go to the Serengeti in Africa and dig a well and build a school. But the truth of the matter is, we need to empower our people to make sure they are the ones delivering the humanitarian aid, that they are the ones taking control of their disasters and crisis. But in order to do that, it comes with a level of education, and it's politics. It really boils down to politics. It means that our leaders have to take a seat at the table and genuinely be there for the benefit of their people, in order that they get to make their decisions and take control over their country. So when Cairo was asked to be the ambassador for South Africa, me as a parent, I don't think he realised the importance of what he was being asked. I don't think he still does. And I would say that this is massive, son, because you're working with an organisation who is looking at international trade, who is looking at sustainability. So they're not looking at the next 5 years, they're looking at the next 500 years. They are looking at producing agriculture. They are looking at farming. They are looking at sustainability, eco-friendly. They are also now trying to have that seat at that table so they can start really taking control of their economics, of group economics. And this is one of the major lessons that I'm trying to teach my children. I never had that advice when I was growing up. I made some poor decisions with my finances. At one point I was living, wage to wage. As soon as my wage comes in, it's spent. And then by the second week, I'm dying for the next wage to come in. These are really bad choices because of misinformation, because of lack of education, because of the lack of role models within our families, within our communities that can pass on that knowledge. And it's so important that we break them cycles so that our children and our children's children have a chance of having a better life as a people, as a community, than we have and our parents have had before us. And that's why it was really easy for me to manipulate my son. Sorry, son, I didn't manipulate you. But it was very easy for me to manipulate my son when he started asking me for pocket money. I was like, I need to teach you about work ethics. You need to be able to survive, because you can't take for granted that I'm going to be around tomorrow. I hope I am. you know, no problems there. I hope to God I am. If I am not here, what am I going to teach you? What lessons are you going to learn from your father, from your families that you can take forward and pass on to your children? And I'm telling you, I genuinely believe it's economics. This is one of the biggest destructions that has happened to our people, is not taking control over our financial destiny. We have allowed people to come in and take our resources, take our products, and we have no control over our financial, power in this situation. How can someone, global figures, be going to Africa and taking all their resources, and there are parts of Africa, not all of Africa, but there are parts of Africa that are still in destitute? That to me is mental. So these are the things that I've tried to really put into practice with both my children. My daughter Shania was doing face painting from the age of 12. So she already had her job and was making money. And once she got that, it's hard to go back to a 9 to 5 or go back to a Saturday job when you're used to collecting, the whole amount. You're used to getting the whole pie, not a slice of it.
Tashi, I'm blessed to know you, and you surround yourself with excellence and you become excellence. And I am still learning every day from you. And now I think I'm just gonna open it to the house, to the Garvey village, to and Auntie Gina and Auntie Chess. Do help me with just identifying who's asking the question. Please, this is a learning space. The reason we're doing this is to galvanize our youths, to get their voices heard, to show what Black African excellence looks like. Also, as part of this, please donate to the Garvey village. Try and see how you can get more involved. Cairo, I would love you to get more involved in this. In fact, I would love to give you this role to host it if ever you want to do it. Like, seriously, just saying it publicly so you can't back out. No, because really it's not about us even doing it. It's about your voices, you telling us who you think should be speaking. You might meet other young people that you think that they need this platform, because I think a lot of the people here didn't know about you till today. And I think you're a blessing to all of us. And this is what the Garvey village is all about. So definitely, we would love to see what we can do to enhance voices. So do donate. You can do monthly donation. I do it. I do my direct debit every month. It's very easy to do. Look at ways that you can volunteer to the Garvey village. And now I'm just going to open it to the house. You've learned so much from these two amazing team. Awesome. And there's a third one. That one is fire. You've not met her yet, but she's not a speaker like in this space. She's a scientist. She just does her thing, and the most humblest children ever. What questions would you have for this beautiful blessings of a family that we are graced with today?
Please raise your hands or unmute yourself to ask your question.
Well, it's not really a question, it's me. I just wanted to say thank you, Cairo and Tasha, for coming on the platform and just to letting us know exactly like what you're doing and how we can support you. And I just wanted to just let you into this little secret. You know, it's not going to be the first and the last time that you're going to be on here. All right? So you're going to be prepared to see us again. I want to see you again in the maybe the next within the next 3 to 6 months, to let us know how your product is going and what else that we might need to do to support that to be pushed forward. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you. And thank you for having a beautiful son, and you've got a fantastic mother. And I hope you're massaging her feet at night time. All right. With those creams. Okay?
Well, don't push it.
That's me.
One of the things that I will say though, and I really do appreciate all the wonderful things you guys have said. we are not perfect, neither is my son, and neither is myself. I've made so much mistakes in terms of from, you know, being a young mum, growing up, bad investments. And even my son, there are struggles within the house that, you know, he doesn't want to admit it. He's a great boy and he's well-mannered, but when he's struggling, like today, for example, when he gets tired, it's like, Mum, go after him. And I have to constantly remind him that you've made a commitment. And one of the things that I genuinely believe, especially with men in particular, in the household, when I think of my childhood, I've got an older brother, he was able to, he's a boy, you don't need to learn to cook and clean. That's what women do. There was these stereotypes where, because I was the dog, I had to cook, I had to clean, I wasn't allowed out. He was allowed out on the streets. Whereas with my daughter and my son in particular, for me, it's important that I am dedicated to make sure he has all the life skills he needs, equally what his sister has. He can cook, he can clean, he is smart, he is well-mannered, and it's about being consistent. There are times where it's so much easier for me to just say, you know what, go upstairs and go play on your Xbox or your iPad, because I won't hear no noise. But I cannot relax, I can't take my foot off the gas. Black boys in our community at the moment, as much as there are so many blessings and there's so many wonderful young men doing some wonderful things, there is also a pandemic at the moment. I don't know if it's a lack of role models, male figures, I don't know what's happening, but I just urge all parents, charity begins at home. That's my honest belief, is that you get to see who your children are within your home. And let's not kid ourselves. You know, being a parent is the hardest job, and it takes a village to raise a child. But you need to talk to your village, and you need to make sure your village is a good village, and you have good, sound people around you to help guide your children. He has wonderful family on his dad's side and on my side. So he is a beautiful product of the environment that we as parents have created for him. He has aunties that support him, that ring him. I will be on the phone to even my friends, Marvina, other women that are in my life, people that I work with. You know, my kids are driving me crazy, and they will say, take a deep breath. So I say that in saying that it is not just me that has produced, so far, touch wood, not washing my mouth, but it takes a lot of us. And I think that's what we try to do. I try to encourage all mums and dads to make sure we do not take our foot off the gas, especially with our sons, and that they have all the skills that they need, because I'm raising somebody's husband. and I don't want some woman coming and telling me that my son doesn't cook and he's not appreciative of her and he's not connected to women and he's not a strong black male. And I say to him that he comes from a line of great men and women, and it's important that he walks forward understanding that and understanding the importance of being disciplined and not giving up. And as parents, we have to be behind them and saying, in it, son, stand up, like, yeah, we got this, I'm gonna hold you so you can make your creams. I'm there with him on a nighttime out, sometimes when he's tired, I have to watch him. So as much as this is his job and this is his business, he has also given me another job.
I love that. I love that term. You're raising somebody's husband. I love that. You got Darius, a question. Got his hand raised.
Yes. Welcome, Tashi Brown. I would just like to say the young prince that you have beside you is very intriguing. Like, I love the knowledge that he possessed and his confidence of, like, you know, what grabbed my attention, yeah, was like he wanted to be on the history books. And I'm like, all right, this is why they don't want us to know our history, because once we know the history, the children that we'll produce would be like a united force against this system, you know? And like, it's just great to see like what direction and guidance does and the right environment that a child is brought up in. And like, it's just very pleasing to know that there's still hope you know, in like when it comes to, you know, educating, because women are around children most of the time, and like males, their responsibility is just like they are men of war in it. But instead of them like, in what I noticed from our community is like women live longer and the men is either dead in jail or in mental health, you know what I mean, and just not taking their responsibility. So it's like it's good to see strong independent women, or you know, just women in the community raising up the children, and yeah, it just makes me smile. Like, you know what I mean? I would like to have your son around me, you know what I mean? Like Uncle P, you know, yeah, like I'll be Uncle Pepper Kai, and it's like, yeah, just develop his character even more, you know what I mean? And just like be around with positive influences, you know what I mean? Because it's just like very important that keep that fire going, you know what I mean? Keep that fire blazing, because male guidance is needed in the community. And like the only thing like I can admit, I have a lot of young people around me, but the drug dealers are grooming my young people. So it's like I need to find employment for the youth to keep them, and a travel service, because like it's just a sticky one, isn't it? Like there's a lack of funding to keep them within my paradigm, you know what I mean? So yeah, and also the knowledge that like you do with trafficking, and what else did you say? And with the funeral, that is very good knowledge, very good knowledge to pass on, and like it's good data for the community. Those are that interested to tackle the problems of our in our community, because I always said, you know, like when people pass away, we need to celebrate and not mourn, and we need to be the ones that are catering the death, you know what I mean? Not any outsiders, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's very like that spiritual warfare, physical warfare type of thing is very important. Like we sharpen each other's iron and each one teach one, because yeah, like the righteousness will prevail, and carry a day, carry a day. What you're saying,
Wonderful.
Serious. You're
yeah.
amazing. You're just amazing. Honestly, I love seeing brothers just celebrate brothers. Like that is kings to kings speaking. What do you feel?
I was going to say, you know, Darius, I think one of the things that we have to also acknowledge and respect, that there are some great men that are doing some great things, and there's so much challenges for our kings and our princes. There are, you know, you have a hard time, but we need to work together, and we need to protect each other, and we need to share and pass on the knowledge together. Cairo has a great father who is very involved and was involved in his upbringing and still is. So he's quite blessed to have male figures, his uncles, in his life. So I do not just take credit. There are some really important males in his life. And it just goes to show, when we work together and we're singing from the same hymn book, we produce beautiful things. And I go back to education about when we're talking about grooming and gangs. We have to understand the root cause, and it's poverty. It is poverty.
Yes,
poverty is forcing our children on the streets. You've got overworked single parents that are working 3 or 4 jobs, letting their children fend for themselves, then the streets claim them. We are not holding our bigger children and brothers and uncles in our family that we know are grooming our younger generations. We're not holding them accountable. So you need to protect yourself and the young people around you by creating opportunities for yourself to get out of poverty. And poverty is a mindset. It's not about how much money is in your bank account. It's a mindset of understanding how £1 can make £100, about budgeting, about making sure you're making big money moves in terms of where you're spending your pounds. Don't buy them Jordans for £300 because, you know, that person isn't making you rich. But guess what? If you're putting your money back into the community, not only do you feel good about yourself, you're now becoming a trendsetter, you know. So make sure you equip yourself with as much knowledge as you can and surround yourself with positive people, man. You know,
100%.
but there's just many kings out there. There's a lot of good, you know.
Yeah, I'm not definitely you're right. I'm not denying that, and you're right. Group economics is I'm currently involved in. I'm with investments with 10 Kings, and just like yeah, and we just working towards, you know, greatness, you know, and I don't want to speak too much on it, but yeah, like it is very important that like we read books and we get to know our true identity and our ancestors and you know, great ones, especially Marcus Garvey. Marcus Garvey is like one of the best. I got a picture in it with him of him in my bedroom actually, and just for like a reminder of like, you know, we need to appreciate our greatness and we come from, you know, a royal lineage, and like, you know, we need to start serving each other, and it's like cater to everyone's needs, and also like, yeah, just complete solve the issues within the company, within the community. So yeah, like focusing on the internal issues, and then we'll be able to have to solve the external issues. But yeah, I will let Waston talk. But it's a pleasure hearing the story, your journey, and Tyron as well. Cairo.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Caio being a good influence, and yeah, like all praises to you, and have a lovely weekend. Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you for letting me speak.
No, it was an honor to have you here. It would be great to actually get you to come and talk about the 10 Kings that you're working with. If you stay on, there might be some time for some free open mic kind of, so you can be able to just give us some scope. But before I pass it to Royston, like, Cairo, do you have anything to say back to Darius, like based on the feedback you've got, before I go to Uncle Royston?
Yeah, I would just say, like, just keep pushing and keep working better. And it's nice that you're helping out the community a lot. And it's just nice that you're like reinvesting into the community to make the community even bigger.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to pass it to Uncle Royston.
I think it's a different name. It's just got Royston's name on it. It's come through Royston's link, but it's
okay.
Would you like to say who your name?
It is me.
Oh,
It is Uncle Royston.
You look like something different.
It is Uncle Royston. I was thinking that. I saw his face.
One's enough, thanks.
Oh, thank you very much. Hello?
Yeah, we can
Go
hear
ahead,
you. We
Uncle.
can hear you.
Okay. So Cairo, I just want to say you're an amazing young man and just encourage you to keep it up. You know, you're doing absolutely fantastically brilliant. You know, well done. Yeah. And Mum, I just want to acknowledge you and your wisdom. And the piece that I particularly love is that you know and the value of importance of him having males around him, you know, fathers, uncles, and so on. And just to reinforce that as a critical part of us as the village and family, bringing up our children. It's true that sometimes not all our relationships run a course, but to not compromise the need for our young kings and queens to be in touch with you know, their fathers or the males around them, because it's only through being in relationship with males and females around them that they begin to build what is a balance for their life or going forward for the future. So I just want to acknowledge, you know, hearing you speak about that and the wisdom that you bring, and to say thank you for all that you have done and all that you are doing in UK wide, but internationally as well. And the fact that you're able to come and speak to us and encourage us and encourage others, you know, to go forward. So thank you very much for all that you've done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. That is so nice. It's important. I can't teach my son how to be a man. You know, I can't. I'm a woman. I've got female energy. You know, I can't. So he has to have, you know, positive role models around him. And it doesn't necessarily just stop at your fathers and your uncles. It's, you know, people like Darius. It's you know, the guy that lives on the street who's doing good. It can be the caretaker. It's males within our community. You know, you can change massively a child's life just by guidance and, you know, protecting them and putting them on the right path. So it is important that you have that balance. So yeah, I definitely pay honour to all the males that I've been blessed to be in my life and be in my children's life. So yeah.
Wow. Any more questions? Any feedbacks or comments? I'm conscious of, we're just blown away. So it's okay to just give feedback. Auntie Jean, what's going on in your mind right now?
I was saying both of them are just truly an inspiration. Absolutely. You know, the mum is just gone right down to son. And I'm actually blown away by the, as I said, even when he was saying that during the time when I was at school, he was bored, he wanted something to do. So that comes from the mum as well, you know, make sure you're doing something, be active. And he's looking for something and he found something. And what's beautiful about it as well, you found something that you love to do. So it's not even coming like work, is it? You're just there doing what you need to do and earning from it at the same time. And being 11 years old, you've got the whole world in front of you. So you're mixing up Cairo's creams at the moment. The next year's time, you're going to have another product and another product and another product. So you'll be able to fill out a whole shop with all of your things. And, you know, and mum will be able to retire, but I know she won't.
There's too much work to do. There's way too much work to do. But like I said, I'm a great believer. My mum was very much like that with me as a child because my mum worked 2 jobs, you know, single parent. My mum's a cleaner, you know, she's done amazing things, got her own company. But growing up, I didn't realise why we was in so many after school activities. We was in every youth club. It was childcare. But at the time I didn't realise it was childcare. My mum was keeping me busy.
Right.
Because she said, if I get used to being busy, when I'm bored and I'm just sat around, I'm going to find something to do.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
there's 2 ways that can go. You know, the devil makes work for idle folks. So there's 2 ways. When you have good children that are not stimulated by activities, they can sometimes get into mischief. They look for the wrong peer group. When your child is busy with activity after activity, they haven't got time to be going to the chicken shop.
No.
They haven't time to be running on the street. They haven't got time to be running in and out of people's houses because they have activities. So I know with Cairo, he has drama, he has speech classes, he does extra maths, and then his business. So he literally does not have time, but we're trying to find that balance. So holidays for us are really, really important. We try to get away, and we try to have activities as a family. And I have 14 brothers and sisters, bearing in mind.
Wow.
So these are just things that I've picked up along the way. And I always say to parents, oh, my kids, you know, they're not doing this. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
The streets will claim them. Somebody else will claim them.
That is true.
Don't manage their time properly. And it doesn't cost money.
That's true.
You know?
You say he cooks too?
100%, yeah, 100%, yeah. He has his cooking day.
What do you, because I used to do it with my children, everybody had their cooking day. So you have your cooking day. What do you like to cook on your cooking day?
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
Yeah. Pardon?
You said fried chicken?
Yeah. With homemade chips. Yeah. But no, it's these life skills. I say to him, it's important that, you know, it's really, I got credit to Dad, because it was Dad that said it when he was a very, very young boy. that he was not allowed to leave his bedroom without making up his bed. And he said that if your child or yourself can't complete the smallest task that takes less than 1 minute to do, they're never going to be able to stick to and complete bigger tasks. And it starts from the minute they wake up in the morning, is making up their bed. And then what you have to do is make sure that you're giving them more and more tasks to do. So once you've made up your bed, now it's okay, your personal hygiene, this is your personal well-being. You get in the shower, you wake yourself up. I do not allow my children, unless they've had a really, really, really busy day, to sleep past 10 o'clock on the weekend. What's sleeping in for? Your day starts at 8 o'clock. Let's be productive. Let's figure out what we're doing so that our body is in sync with the universe, that our body is having that time to recover from our activities during the day, and we're sleeping and we're waking up with a mission and a purpose every single day. You know, and I hope that these will give him the lessons that he needs to grow into a great man. But I know children get to an age and a point in their life where they'll make their own decisions.
Yeah, they get to a part where they have a little rebellious streak, but it's part of learning, it's part of growing. And once you set the boundaries and you set the precedent when they're young, even though they may stray when they get a little bit older, they always go back to how they started. So, you know, there's always that. But he might not even stray because he's got too much things to do.
And I've got a belt, he's just behind me. I've got a message. But no, I saw that with my daughter. So I've got my 21-year-old daughter, and she's studying biomedicine at Nottingham University. And she's very much the same. It's like she got to 16. All of a sudden, she's a woman, she's grown. Everything has gone out the window. She's got attitude. It got to the point where it was like very difficult to be in the same house with her. And it was like, well, you need to leave, you need to go. And she stayed with my mum for a little while. And it was only when she started university and she saw all the life skills, she put it into practice.
That's
like, right. I'm at uni and I don't need to worry about cooking because I know how to cook. So all my
right.
Take away. Mum, I don't understand how these people don't know how to clean. And I was like, same thing. On at me about, she used to say, Mum, I like Cinderella. And I said, look at that. These are the things that I was preparing for.
That's it.
About you. You know, I am very conscious of aesthetics and how people treat other people. So I've always raised my children that your true beauty and the essence of who you are is inside of you. It's your soul, it's your spirit, and that's what people are attracted to. You can fool them with the aesthetics, but they stay because of who you are. So it's important that you feed that, and that's what you develop, and that's what people are attracted to. And Marvina touched the nail, well, she really touched upon it when she said about when Cairo's on the stall. So when he has a stall, I'm always saying to him, smile. Make sure you're treating every customer that comes with respect. You know, so no matter how tired you are, you make sure you say hello and goodbye. And even if they don't buy anything, say to them, thank you for coming. And I said, people will remember that little nice boy, you know, that was behind that counter that made them feel good.
Yeah, very true. You have a hand raised, a question from Dr. Linden.
Greetings, and salutations to young mom and her young son.
Okay, we're just seeing your eyes with the top of your head, so if you can bring down, we can see a bit more of your face.
Can see me?
That's better, yeah.
All right. I was trying to hide my face. Congratulations, young mom and young son.
Thank you.
I am so proud to have joined this webinar today, because normally I'm a very, very busy man, as they will tell you, but I saw that there was a mom and son and, you know, all the great things that's going on. And I'm just absolutely proud of both of you. I think, let me first of all thank the young Cairo. Just the name alone tells me that your mom had plenty in mind for you when she named you, okay? That told me something about her connection to ancestral and African, Nubian, Melanet is, established factors and traditions. So you're in good hands, as you know. I love you, son. I've dealt with young people for 52 years, in and out of school, advocacy, holding, things for them. And I'm telling you that you just remind me of some of the young ones that I was looking after. There are lots of temptations out there, but one thing I can hear from your mom is that you know the difference between discipline and self-discipline. That's been well taught to you from your mom, because I'm listening to how you speak, what you say, the intonations of your voice, and the genuineness of your generosity of spirit, yeah? And helping your mom, because your mom's doing quite a lot from what I can hear. And she needs for you to take charge of you being a prince. You know, you are a prince, your mom is the queen, your sister is a princess, and your dad's a king. You come from royalty. Your mom is treating you as a royal. So always remember that. There'll be temptations when you get into adolescent age. That's gonna happen. It's just another life stage. In fact, it's the most difficult one for you to progress. But with a mom like this, and of course, extended family, as I can hear, and that's always great for us. Because when uncle can say this and auntie can say that, and cousin can do this, and we live as a unit. Unification is all you will aim for as you grow up. So well done, keep at it. I'm an advocate for children learning from now, that 10 years from now, you will not be applying for a job. Yeah, your mom is safeguarding you, so you know that you are creative. And that creativity is where you are going to be focusing and have to focus in order for you to live. Yeah. So this is a great start for you. You got your foot on the first or second rung of the ladder. Yeah. You're climbing this mountain. You can't climb it in a straight line. So you're gonna make errors. Okay. Believe me, there's no such thing as failure. All there is feedback. And from that feedback, you would have learned something else and learned how much more clever you really are, because you've got decent coping skills. And that's really what moms like your mom have to invoke into your living, your everyday living. Yeah, you can cook chicken, but I'm a Rasta man, so I need vegan food, okay? Where are you? You've gone off the screen. What's happening? Can I have them back on the screen? Right. But we love you, son. Yeah? Very proud of you. I've never met you on your mom before, but I've met you today, and I love you already. Okay? So keep doing you. Keep doing you.
Thank you.
Mom,
Thank you. We love you too.
I must come over to you now, Mom. Your family that brought you up, I can hear the installation of things I learned way back when, long before you. And that's really great. And I heard you say something which I do agree with. The village raises the child. But the first teacher, the first coach, the first counselor, the first mom, that your children have is you.
Yes.
Yes, and with your hubby and your daughter, listen to me. You are the head of your village. The village need not be an environment outside of you, because psychologically you are the village. All of you as a family is the village. So remember that side of it. Yes, I love you too, Mom. I have one daughter out of 13 children. Okay. And I'm telling you, you look about the same age as her. So I'm going to look upon you as my daughter too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm so proud of you. I love the way how you want to strive, you know, to be of service to somebody else. Ever wondered what makes you I wouldn't say prosperous, but advanced, you know, in your thinking? It's because you're old heart. See, I know the people who are old heart. I know the people who are old head. That's the work I do. Yeah, I coach people, so I know. Yeah, I can listen to you talk. I can hear what you say by the content of your mind. Tells me who you are. Mom, I'm going to give you a big round of applause. Well done. Well done. I'd love to hear from you again. And
Thank you.
I'm also going to be speaking on the Garvey Village, and it'll be the 7th of May. Please tune in and listen to what I've got to say.
Will do. Definitely will do.
We're proud of you. Keep going. There's no limit.
Thank you.
No limit. Let's go.
Thank you. Honestly, them words have really touched me. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that.
More than welcome. More than welcome.
You look like my dad. You do look like my dad.
Listen.
And you probably know my dad as well. I guarantee you'll probably know who my dad is. Listen,
if we don't know each other from physical, we know each other spiritually. So
I bet you know my, if you're from 12 tribes Rasta, you'll know my dad.
Okay. That sounds good to me too.
You will know. Okay? But that lives in Ethiopia at the moment.
Carry on doing what you're doing. You're wonderful. Remember, young Cairo, let me tell you, Dr. Linda's going to tell you that what you're doing, you probably didn't recognize it. But discipline is a requirement. And that's what makes you be doing so well in your business, because you have discipline. You've been taught discipline and you have discipline. Your mom's got discipline, your dad's got discipline, your whole family's got discipline. But self-discipline, again, you're showing me when I hear them question, so what do you do, this, that, and the other, and you explain like, yeah, you know, I've been trying to do this and trying to do that. I'm going to tell you, stop trying and just keep doing. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
much. No, thank you so much. I'm just blown away. I'm gonna go to Auntie Patricia, because like Auntie Patricia is just like Queen Mother too. So any feedback or any, because I could just see you smiling and nodding and just pure pride, just being in throughout your whole soul. So
it's just absolutely wonderful to have you on the platform. Greetings, Dr. Linden and everybody else. This young man, brilliant. It's fine. We need to showcase our young people. I think we hear so many sad stories. Sad stories, particularly that young lad who jumped over the London Bridge to save a life and lost his own, you know, things like that. And other young people getting attacked and assaulted, but we need to have a balance. And it was really great to have Tashi Brown and her son on the platform. And it's also great to hear that your daughter is also very studious, and you know, we look forward to the future. Absolutely brilliant. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you so much. These platforms are so important, so you lot are doing great work, and thank you for inviting us. Honestly, we appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I want to say another amazing thank you again, Tashi, for existing, for supporting, for bringing this to our platform. I also wanted to say, Cairo, you know I'm your biggest fan, and be honest to you, I actually just want to even be at your shadow, just to be able to say I know you, And when I talk about your daughter, she worked with me. Again, the work ethics that Tasha's children have, it's you will feel you're around grown people, and it's not, but they're still children and young people, and they just step in. Your daughter has been extraordinary in everything she does. She walks into a room and she lights up the space in her knowledge, in her power. I remember just seeing her in her GCSEs and her results, to the fact, and I mean, like, they aim for the sky because you've told them that they can, and that you've told them that they should. So I think that's one message I want parents to take out of this. Don't worry about what the media is saying about all the negativity. With Garvey Village, you would always see us bring the Black excellence, the African excellence to the table. And if your child or your young person is doing some extraordinary things, we want to tell your story. We want to give you this platform. It is yours. The last Friday of every month, you can take hold of the space and let us know what amazing work your children are doing. But also you can donate, you can support, you can get involved with the Garvey Village. It's something that we want our community to take ownership of, because it is there for them. I am so pleased to have hosted which you all, and I sit here because I have aunties and uncles and elders who guide me daily. And Tashi, you're extraordinary, and Cairo, you're like phenomenal. I'm speechless by you all the time, and big smiles all day, every day. And definitely keep us informed. You can stay on the platform, get engaged as we're going on. But one other thing I would say before I pass on to our, if there's any other questions, please, we've got like another 3 minutes to take any other questions around Tashi and Cairo. But one thing I'll say about Tashi, we understand the power of surrounding ourselves with excellence. We do not, literally, it is a CV requirement to know who we call in our circle. We don't just call friends like that in our circle, and we challenge each other on how we win on a daily basis. And when one of us falls, and there was a period I fell really deep, Tashi, I'm not ashamed to say it, Tashi ran a food bank, and she ran a youth club, summer club, and Tashi, you were the only one that knew my mess, and you stood there unapologetic and just supported all through. So it is important for us to also talk about food banks that you do, the youth program that is in so much demand. You took 40 kids in the summer last year, 40 kids for 4 weeks, 9 to 5 o'clock. You did that, and you fed them. This was in the period of pandemic. You gave them activities, you taught them skills, and you're going to do that again. So if you don't mind, it would be great for you to share the importance of that summer program, why it exists, and also your food bank that you run, a diverse food bank to be specific, with plantains and okra, and making sure that there's
cultural,
modern day
cultural foods. You know, food security is a massive part of children's upbringing. I don't know what it feels like to go hungry, but there are children within our community that are skipping meals because parents can't afford it. People feel that their pride stop them from going to a food bank because their finances maybe know they might be in a difficult position. So what we do is we identify the most vulnerable people in our community, which is a very Afro-Caribbean community, and we try to give them as much food parcel and food help that we can each week. We can't always guarantee it, just depends what donations we get, but we will distribute them to our families within the community. And our summer camp was for African Caribbean children in particular, but we don't really, it is inclusive of everyone, but our lessons are all about our history. So we did African art classes, we did a heritage walk with Joe Williams in Leeds. We have done all our activities basically were centered around Black health, Black Black excellence, and it was the music we were playing in summer camp was reggae, was Afrobeats, was R&B, which was our music, and even the way myself and the teachers were interacting with our children were like it was an extension of our home. And there were times when children would be a little bit mischievous, and I would ask parents, like, look, this is how, you know, these are our rules, these are our home rules. Do I have your permission to be assertive and deal with this situation how I would with my own children? Because I think what comes from the heart reaches the heart, and I feel that our children need that nurturing of our elders within our community, because they feel that love. And summer camp was a huge success. The children all call me auntie when they see me. They're asking me when they're coming to my house, and it's beautiful to see that we was able to create these opportunities. And like I said, these are opportunities for my children to see that as well, and to be around other children amongst in their community. And yeah, it's great. But like I said, I work with some great people, and I have great friends. I have a great family, and I've just attracted really positive, inspirational people in my life that help me every day with my own journey. And trust me, Marvina, myself, you, other women, other men, we all hit times where we need that support and we need that help. We should never be embarrassed or ashamed to ask our fellow brother or sister for some support, for some help. That is not a failure, that is nothing to be ashamed of. We all hit them times, and mental health is a big problem within our community, and a lot of it is because of the stigma of asking for help. And if someone claims to be your friend or claims to be for their people, when you ask for help, it should never be an issue from anyone. And help comes in many different forms, by just listening to someone, by cooking someone a little food, by sometimes saying, I'll take the kids, you know, by just supporting, by liking the Instagram, by liking or, you know, sharing something. So it's important that us as a people, we support each other. So we're there for you. We're there for everyone, you know.
Thank you, Tashi. Thank you, Cairo, so much. It's an honor to have you on the Garvey Village and for galvanizing our African youths. So this has been a pleasure to listen to all you and listen to all the contributions and the questions which have flooded in. And we want to thank the Garvey Village for creating this platform to give us this education, to give us this history, to celebrate our people, to celebrate Black excellence. And you are definitely extraordinary. And I want all of us to just give some clapping emojis for my wonderful sister and my lovely, lovely Prince Cairo. We celebrate you, we celebrate you, we celebrate you. Thank you so much. But now I'm about to introduce another amazing, this is my younger sister. I have sisters everywhere. And she is someone that I've seen her tireless work over the past couple of months. She does this selflessly, and she's young and she's dynamic and she's still stepping into her own power. Vienna, the floor is just, I like the fact she's shocked that I'm talking about you. It's you. Who else? Who else do you want me to talk about? You have made my Nigerian accent come out. Listen, I'll just big you up like that. Walk into the space like the queen, put your crown on, and let us know all the amazing things. Vienna does amazing work with youths and young people across the country. And she's also working in Tontin. I'm probably saying it wrong because my accent and my dialect will say it in a different way, but you can correct me, it's okay. Whatever the situation is, Queen, I watch your work and I just love your soul. But I want these people to get to know you, my people, our people, Africans, to know the Vienna that I have grown to meet. Vienna, the space is yours. Let us get to know about your excellent work.
Thank you for an introduction like that. I'm not gonna lie, I was really, really shocked. I was like, yeah, cool. Next person. I'm like, oh snap, it's me. Oh, thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you so much to Cairo and Tashi. Absolutely inspirational. I'm not gonna lie, I was sat there and I was like, whoa, like I'm like looking at my life going, right, no, I don't know why I'm in this space right now, because they're both absolutely amazing. Like, and I think it's kind of like everyone's been saying so far, surround yourself with inspirational people and make sure that you're inspired every day. And I think that that's something I've definitely started to learn the last few months, with being surrounded by women such as Marvina and some other amazing sisters as well. So thank you so much. So yeah, so I've kind of been working within the community here for the last year or so, kind of doing some activist work. It's been really difficult with regards to COVID, etc. So if I kind of do like a bit of a backstory, we'll do a little story time, everyone, and then we'll kind of, so I grew up in Somerset, in a place called Taunton. And for me, growing up in this area, it's, if you don't know, it's kind of like in between Bristol and Exeter, with that kind of green space right in the middle, that's kind of non-existent. And growing up, I'm mixed. And for me, I found it really, really difficult kind of growing up in an environment, in a space where no one looked like me at all. And where the people that I had, I don't know how to explain it. Sorry, folks, I'm like ridiculously broken today. Let's just say I'm on like a bit of a burnout mode at the moment. Basically, when I was younger, I realized that the importance of youth and community. So growing up, where it's completely white around here, everyone is white, but then at the same time, everyone's telling me I'm white, but then my mum's telling me, no, you're not white. And it's like, wow, an absolute minefield. And basically, we were really lucky to have a lot of organizations in our area at the time that were bringing on board mixed people, Black people, young people, and basically taught us confidence, empowerment. We created a community within ourselves, a community even still then that I didn't feel like I was part of. And it's thanks to those experiences I'm kind of where I'm at now, where I'm starting to realize that we really need to focus. Marvina.
Yes.
I'm
yes.
like really stuck right now mentally.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, everyone. I'm kind of
Don't worry.
It's been a really, really hard few months, and I'm kind of at that point where self-care is kind of in order. But if you could ask me questions,
I would do that. I would do that for you, little
sorry,
sis.
everyone.
No. See, this is the thing. This is what Garvey Village is all about. Queen, look at me. We're proud of you. You spoke. Your voice is the only thing that matters in this space right now. Your story is your story. And now I'm just going to ask you questions. Please. And we will make space to make sure that works. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
Does that help? Okay,
yes.
Then that's fine. What makes Vienna, Vienna? What's your identity?
Oh, okay. I would definitely say I'm big on justice. I'm big on fairness. And I guess that makes sense that I'm an activist now. I think growing up with a father who wasn't very nice to my mum, a father who tried to eradicate our Black identities as well as my mother's own identity, I think witnessing that for so long as a child, I realized that I didn't like bullies. And I think as I've grown older and I've stepped into that power, even more that, you know, I'm stepping into that power again. And I think people need to understand that you step into your power at waves. I guess it's called growth, right? And as a child, I stepped into that power and I realized that I wasn't going to take it anymore. And for me, it makes me fiercely loyal, fiercely protective. And I'm not going to lie, like I'm a low-key warrior. Like I'm not going to back down. And again, doing the work that I've been doing the last year, I've stepped into that power even more and it's matured even more. And I would say that's kind of what makes me.
I would go into us speaking to your younger self. What would you want what would you want to say to your younger self? Thinking about what society does to the younger you, what would you want to say to her right now if she was listening to this?
Be brave. Because I think, again, I think being unapologetically yourself, it's something really big, and it's something that young people nowadays as well really struggle with. It's something that will, you know, I think with social media, with young people being so exposed, so vulnerable to being criticized by so many people, we're not built for it. We're not built for it even on a small scale, you know? We're so worried about embarrassing ourselves. We're so worried about being different, but it's our differences that make us powerful. It's our differences that make us beautiful. It's the power and the strength to be unapologetically authentic and to step into that. And that is what I would say to my younger self: be brave and allow others to feel brave as well. Allow others to, you know, pay it forward and empower other people to be different. 100%.
What was the strength that came with having a strong Black mother?
Cool. It's very strange because my mum is really strong. But when it came down to the identity of how we perceived each other, my mum always shielded us from the pain. She always put on a brave face. She always smiled. She always laughed. You never really know anything was going on. And I guess we all learned from that. I think it was that power for her to understand that she had to set aside certain things for her children. For me, when she did her work in the local community, setting up the Somerset African Caribbean network with my auntie, seeing her just work was absolutely amazing. She's full of life, so funny, super embarrassing when she dances, and everybody loves her. She would literally help anyone. Everyone on the estate knew that they could go and talk to my mum if they needed support with anything. She didn't care what was going on. She was always there to support you, always there to help you. And that's something I've very much taken from my mum, is never wanting to turn anyone away. 100%.
What's the challenges do you think that the younger you or young people are going through? Based on you as a youth worker, what are the challenges that you're seeing right now? Bearing in mind you highlighted mental health. We'll come to that question actually. No. What are the challenges for young African youths? I like the word African, and I'm trying to get us to use that more. When we say Black is a word that was created and to compartmentalize us to something quite negative. When you say Africa with a K, you bring it back to our origin, to our history, to our ancestors, to who we are. And I'm going to ask you, what are the challenges you see with African youths? And then that's the context it is.
So within my area, I feel like the community is very dispersed. In the entirety of Somerset, they're 98% white, 0.8% are African, right? And that is then dispersed around the entirety of the county. And so first of all, young people are going to be dealing with the fact of isolation. Then they're going to be dealing with accessibility. How are we going to be able to create supports from young people that are in different areas? Because they're not isolated socially, but they are isolated culturally. And I think that it's trying to bring back the sense of community for young people in this area, and also that safety. We do deal with a lot of there are a lot of rural racism cases, and I think safety as well, because again, we're so dispersed. We don't have that feeling of safety in numbers. Or for example, when a young person is dealing with a certain situation, because their friendship group is predominantly white, for example, they're not going to be necessarily getting the empathy that they would from their friends than they would from someone else who has experienced it. So I would definitely say that those are some of the key issues here. With regards to, I can only really speak in terms of what Somerset is kind of going through at the moment and the work that I want to be able to do in this area to support them. And it's very much going to be about community outreach for us here, and then trying to draw everybody out and into kind of certain kind of cluster groups at the same time. I think as a wider, Tashi said it very, very well. If you have a young person who is bored, most of the time this is boredom as well when we have it with young people. If they're not being stimulated, if they're not being given purpose, if they're not being given direction all the time, then again, they fall into the wrong groups. We're having it very much down here now where we're having an issue with drugs in the area, where it's slowly kind of trickling down from the cities. And now it's starting to kind of affect, again, the communities that we have here. And this is something that, as everyone knows, is very much an issue within kind of England, the UK as a whole. And I think it's having those outreach programs, having youth workers and support workers out on the streets, communicating with them, supporting with them, you know, understanding that these are still our children, these are still our, you know, our young people, that we need to be making sure that they're okay. Because the thing is that they're going to pretend like everything's okay, and they're going to act like they're completely hard. But the thing is that most of the time they really, really just need help, and they need someone to listen to them. And this is probably one of the biggest things. And obviously we said about mental health. You know, when again, looking at social media, we're living in a world at the moment where there's very little accountability because we have instant gratification. Young people don't understand how to, and this isn't all young people, obviously, because everything is very much seen as a trend, because everything comes into fashion really quickly. Then it's instant gratification, we don't really have to work for anything, and then it's over and done with. And again, we need to bring that back to be like, actually, like there is accountability, and the way we have to bring in that accountability is through supporting them through youth groups, but also within the education system, but again, at home. It all starts from at home, you know, that reciprocal relationship that young people are feeling is being taught by their parents constantly. And again, it's kind of like having to support the parents at home to then support the teachers, etc., in schools. And it's that whole, again, that vibe of the community raises the child. But those are a few issues. And again, I think as well, with regards to self-image, what are the beauty standards nowadays? You know, there are a lot of issues with self-image that young people are experiencing. And that is mostly due to, again, this whole kind of culture of you know, Snapchat filters, but also, you know, this whole culture around, well, yeah, I mean, it's image and status, isn't it? It's always about image and status. And again, Tashi, I touched on it earlier. Why are you buying those £300 trainers when you can take that money and you can invest it into something else that's different? You can save that money, you know? Yeah.
I would say you're doing and you're sitting in your power. You're not just stepping into it, you are. And you brought something up that I really want to touch base. How is the beauty standard affecting Black African girls? African girls, what does that mean? Or what, because you talked about it, but I think people will be like, well, you don't have to accept it. You should just, you know, be proud of who you are. But really, what does that look like in youth work when you're dealing with these young people who have potential self-hate for their African features?
It's exposure, isn't it? It's exposure and normalizing, because the thing is that, for example, the more Black girls are exposed to models that look like them, actresses that look like them, women in power. So let's just move away from the whole entertainment thing. Yeah, women in power. Once they start to see women who look like them, and they start to see themselves, because this is all anyone really wants, isn't it? When I look at you, I see you as beautiful. And we need to be able to celebrate the fact that we see each other as beautiful. And it's the same for men as well, right? We need to get comfortable with the fact that we can appreciate and praise each other. And I think young women need to see that as well. They need to see that their features are absolutely stunning and beautiful, and they need to hear it. And we need to normalize that culture again around saying, hey girl, you look stunning right now. You know, we talk about body positivity, but when it comes to the positivity that Black girls have to feel, they're very much cast aside, aren't they? I find, if you look at certain things like TikTok as well, if we look, for me, I find TikTok really, really interesting, because it gives you an idea of where the world is at when it comes to like news and stuff, but it also gives you an idea as to where young people are at mentally, what's trending, what's going in, what's going out. And I also have to say, it really, I feel like it falls to the men as well to also say that, hey girl, like, you're gorgeous. Because the thing is that what I'm noticing on TikTok is there is a trend at the moment where African men are basically saying that darker, deeper skin toned women are not attractive. Yes, this is something that's happening right now, by the way. You have got teenagers trying to, so you're going to have girls who are trying to clout chase. You're going to have the guys who are encouraging this behavior. You're having kind of songs and stuff where they're saying, oh, would you ever go out with a dark skinned girl? And then the song is like, nah, 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 or like, I would rather go blind, and things like that. But you also have African men doing this as well. So again, if what you're saying is that if this queen isn't even good enough for him, then she's not good, like she's not worth anything to anyone at all. You know what I mean? And these are things that are happening right now. And it's like, again, I feel like for us, we need to be creating that within the women. And also I find when we look at colorism as well, right? We look at colorism, yeah, I had to talk about it. I get really, really annoyed because obviously you see me, I'm like white. It's really frustrating. Like
you're not white. You're kissed by the sun, but a different level of melanin in your skin, and your hair grows towards the sun like a crown. So I see you in all your entirety. Other people have told you that notion that you are white. You're just a different melanin, and you're beautiful.
Okay, enough with the compliments. But my point is, okay, whatever, let's just scrap it. My point of it is the fact that, right, I have like this so-called privilege, right? And the thing is that I hate that. I hate the word privilege when it comes, but colorism is so ridiculously real. I feel embarrassed when light-skinned girls start degrading dark-skinned girls. It literally makes me feel sick. I don't understand why that is okay. I don't understand why it is okay. And that needs to be, again, a conversation that is being had about sisterhood, about literally raising each other up. I did a conversation the other day where I said, I have to constantly deal with the fact that, yes, you may look at me and you're like, okay, she's really, really white, right? And she's got all of this privilege. But the thing is, do you know how hard it is to look in the mirror and feel like you're one way, but you look completely different, right? Because then all the time you just get imposter syndrome. I have people who are always going to question me like, oh, yeah. You said you were black. Yeah, no, you're not black. You're white, right? And this is the moment where I need a girl to come in and say, no. The community claims her. She's one of us. Just the same way, okay, these light-skinned girls need to be going and be like, no, we claim her, she's beautiful. Do you know what I mean? We need to be doing that, because the thing is, that's the only way we're going to empower each other as women, but not just as women, as men as well. It takes all of us to be able to do that. You know, and that's what I would be encouraging within my youth sessions, is to not only have that dialogue and that safe space for the for the African girls, but also to have a mixed group where you're also having it with the men, to have that conversation with them at the same time. Because again, we need to be teaching our sons, we need to be teaching our brothers how to treat women at the same time, 100%. And then obviously there's a wider conversation. So many conversations.
I want to put a context to people listening to this on the radio or even watching this on Facebook and hearing all this. This is a full-blown conversation to understand the mindset of what some of our young people who are dual heritage or mixed race are going through. We're creating that platform for you to also understand some of you have never been on TikTok. If you go, you would understand what she's talking about there. If you go on Instagram, Facebook, and some other channels that young people go through, you would see that. But again, I think based on what you've just said, Vienna, how does that impact on your mental health?
I mean, my mental health, I think, like, I'm like, hey, hashtag childhood trauma. But we were speaking about this with someone else who was mixed the other day, and we very much look at it as, we kind of came up with a fancy name and called it racial dysmorphia. Oh yeah, fancy. And it doesn't just happen with mixed people. I think it happens with African people as well. I think that when you are surrounded in an environment all the time that is white or whatever, I think you look at yourself and you start to see yourself in this completely different light. You become what people tell you that you are. Do you know what I mean? You almost self-manifest what people think that you are. And for me, it's very much this thing with being mixed, is the fact that I already have mental health problems that are impacted because of trauma I experienced when I was younger, which caused me to my personality to kind of fracture. But the thing is, on even a deeper genetic level, my personality is fractured in that way, because the thing is that, again, as I said earlier, seeing yourself in the mirror versus what is in your heart is so different. When you feel this sense of belonging with people that don't look like you, but they feel like you, it's a really strange feeling. And the thing is the more I've got to spend time with you and our sisters, I feel that I found my home, and I'm finding my place, I'm finding my voice. And the thing is that scares me and it worries me, because now I think to myself, like, I don't think I can ever go back. And I look at how being around so many white people, and it's not a bad thing, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but to always be then going from a home life where you're not allowed to express the fact that of your Jamaican roots, and then to go into a school where you're not even learning about your own history, so then going to a workplace where there's people that don't look like you, like constantly being reinforced that you're one of these people, but you're not one of these people. Do you know what I mean? The way that that's affected my mental health has given me so much self-doubt. I feel like an imposter every single day. I feel like I don't deserve to have this platform. I feel like I'm constantly always trying to give this platform to anyone else but me, because I don't feel like I'm worthy. And again, as I say, the last few months, I'm stepping into that and going, actually, like, I am worthy. And, you know, I won't say that very often, but this is why it's so important to have women around you, to have a community around you that tell you that you are worthy, to tell you that you are valued every single day, and to inspire you every single day. And if you feel like you're lost, they're there to pick you up again. You know what I mean? I've never felt this before in my entire life than I have in the last few months. And that is crazy. So yes, that is the way it's affected my mental health. And I really, again, it's, you know, doing the activist work that I've been doing, again, I feel like I'm trying to speak for Black people, yet not also feeling like I'm one of those people, but actually understanding how that privilege and oppression has both affected me in so many different ways. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that every single individual needs to feel this. They need to feel this. They need to feel that love and that blessings. And do you know what? I feel so close to my ancestors. I lost my nan last year, and I'm so devastated because I never got to truly connect with her. And on this journey, this last year, I've never felt closer to my nan before. I feel like she is with me every day, helping me every single day.
Oi. Vienna, you're worthy. And I know everyone thinks I'm a catalog of just giving compliments. It's not that. I literally radiate what I know you need to. I see you, I hear you. But I think we need to be able to identify something you talked about. The media's influence on young African minds, the media's influence on whether that's music, whether that's what they see, representation matters. And I hear you talking about privilege. There is something called light skin privilege, and it's a thing. And I know that you check your privilege all the time. Hence why sometimes you think about other people to put in the space. But I've told you that you are an ally, and it's something that I really, when it comes to really platforming dark-skinned women. So can you elaborate from a young person's point of view, go a little bit deeper into what you consume sometimes that makes you, so because I want the other young people listening to this and parents hearing this and like teachers and youth workers understanding what shapes your mind to that point where you start feeling unworthy because of all the things, and maybe in the context of maybe institutional racism and colorism and all the other stuff. But feel free to just contextualize how the media and lack of representation of even darker skinned women or strong Black, not angry women change your perception. Just, yes, of your worthiness, mostly as Black girls and Jew heritage children and young people.
Right, so that's quite a lot. So yeah, absolutely, representation matters. The right representation matters also. I think that as a society, we tend to want to stick plasters on things and cover things up and think that we've just sorted it with whatever representation the community thinks that, do you know what I mean? Sorry, let me just say that again, because that sounded really weird. Basically, it's about the right representation. So I think that representation, again, as I say, it starts from being young. It starts at home. If you live in rural areas, please try and take your young people, your children, to a city. Take them to a place where you're not necessarily going to see people, diverse types of people on your streets every single day. Go and take them, again, like I say, go take them to a city. I think as well, the books that you're reading, the movies that you're watching, you can educate at home. You can educate your child through whatever outlet that they prefer. When it comes to the media, I definitely want to say when it comes to the media, I think we're getting to a place now where we are having a more diverse range of representation on our screens. I think nowadays everyone's very fixated on screens, aren't they? So again, there's great documentaries out there. There's great books out there. I'm not really sure how to answer that one.
You did answer it. You answered it. You know,
Oh,
so you answered it in the best way you could answer it, and I appreciate that. And it's Vienna, you've been put in a situation to speak on something that you can only speak from your lens, and I think you don't understand the power of your lens right now. And I want you to understand that you're the expert in your own narrative around this topic, and your expertise is going to change another person's perception of what can be done. And that's the most important thing. You do a lot of work around racism and challenging racism.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you found that work really hard to do in the past couple of months, and that's really impacted you. What kind of challenges does that pose for young people who face institutional racism on a daily basis?
I think it's something where you feel helpless. And the worst thing is when you have power, then you feel powerless. But I'm not going to lie, with everything that's happened in the last year, I think people are really finding their voices, which is something that is amazing. I think that our young people are saying that they've had enough of it. Our young people are stepping up and they're saying that they've had enough of it, and we have to support them. We have to support them. The way it's affecting them, again, it's when young people are dealing with racism nowadays, it's not just over, someone walking down the street. It's not, it's not just like a muttered comment anymore. When it comes to, again, social media, I can't, again, emphasize enough the importance of social media. And when it comes to our self-care, because we are all consumed by social media. When a young person is, number one, experiencing trauma, because we seem to think that, I'm just going to say it, we seem to think that public lynchings are entertainment. People seem to think that we've moved along. We haven't moved along at all. Young people are being traumatized by this now, because before, see, you'd hear about it happening. Now you have people sharing it like it's entertainment for that young person, or for any person within the community to experience. They are being constantly traumatized online. That means that online is no longer a safe space, because you can't control everything within your feed. You're then having to deal with the fact that, with regards to then information being bombarded from, again, the internet, that means that people are creeping into your DMs, people are commenting, they can be as hateful or as hurtful as they want. It means that if you want to step up to this, as happened to me last year, people then found out where you work, then they want to go and say stuff to your work. Do you know what I mean? We're taking this environment from the outside, we're bringing it inside. Do you know what I mean? And I just feel like young people at the moment are being attacked left, right, and center, because if you think they're bringing it at home because it's on their phone, then they're at school, right? Then they're having to deal with whatever at school. And then again, that, you know, maybe they're doing extracurricular activities, maybe they're you know, doing football, maybe they're doing dance, you know, and they're not being given, again, that support. And I feel like, especially with the government at the moment doing cuts to the youth and community sector, it's about stepping up and creating a job for yourself, which is something that, you know, I'm very much doing the last few months, is actually going, all right, fine. If they're going to cut funding, I'll just create my own group and I'll create my own support, and we'll just do it like that. And I think that that's something really important. But yeah, young people have had enough, and they may act, as I said before, all ballsy and stuff, but they need, as adults, as elders, like everyone needs to step up and support them, because at the end of the day, the torch is being handed over, you know? And I feel like it's every generation, you know, we all kind of take the torch and then we continue the fight and then we step back. And then obviously the next generation takes over. But I think having that succession now for young people, because I feel like starting from last year, we had nothing to work from, you know? And again, I think that people just, again, aren't taking young people seriously enough when it comes to what they're experiencing, because the system isn't built to actually deal with people talking about issues at all.
Thank you so much, Vienna. You did so well. I want to say thank you so much. I'm going to open it up to questions really quickly. And please, well done, Vienna. We've got 2 more speakers, so we'll just take some questions right now. And Vienna, are you okay to take some questions from people?
Yeah. Again, I really want to say sorry, everyone, that I'm not like on my full game.
Sorry, okay, stop. You're not going to apologize.
Yeah, stop it.
Yeah, I know I just did the big sis thing there, but you did so well, and I'm so proud of you. Well done. Any questions?
Yes, there's one in the chat, Sister Marvina, from our very own Jacqueline Morrison. Vienna, what does your family think about your activism's viewpoints and stance on issues?
That's such a good question. Right. So on my dad's side, so my dad has been he's seen kind of me stepping into this activism as a way of me disowning my white side. He sees it as kind of, I'm throwing away my English heritage and I'm disowning it. And, you know, he's very much kind of like, no, we've kind of got to a point where we haven't been speaking for a very long time, and we're kind of finally coming to speaking terms, but basically we just don't discuss what I do. Is probably the safest way, just because there's obviously some issues there. With regards to my mum didn't like it at first last year. She hated it. In fact, yeah, I think it was when it happened, when I decided to organize my own protest, I ended up having my mum, my auntie, and my cousin all in the same room. And they were all just, you know, so angry with me because I'd just been suspended from my job. So I'd ridden home, and I ride a motorbike. So I'd been literally crying for a half-an-hour ride with my visor, ooh, all the way. And they were fuming, because I think it was safety. You know, being in Taunton, like especially the estate that I grew up on, I think anything that's different, they just didn't like. And then everyone was already like low-key racist as well. So I think for my mum, she had to really fight to establish herself within that area, within that community, and to also feel safe. And she had to deal with a lot of crap over the years, like a lot of crap. So I think for her now having this kind of quiet life, you know, she's been happy with a quiet life. And then suddenly this little one comes along and I'm like, right, mum, so I've done all of this stuff. And, you know, they were upset, they were angry, they didn't want me to do it. Me and my mum, really, I was angry with my mum because I didn't understand why she didn't want me to do it, you know, and she was very much kind of put up and shut up now. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, but mum, this is the wrong way for things to be, you know, and that's how I kind of just continued. And I think as time, we're coming up to almost a year, my mum is slowly kind of relaxed about it. I think she's kind of understanding, you know, I turned around to her and I said, look, you and dad were both kind of like activists growing up. And then on top of that, I said, you did so much work within the community, kind of doing like multicultural events and things like that, and supporting lots of different communities, as well as the fact that as I got older, again, learning that kind of importance of youth work and community work, kind of joining lots of little organizations like the Global Youth Association. So we kind of worked on political change in our local areas. Then there was the Somerset Racial Equality Council, when we managed to make this really cool video, which was basically me and loads of mixed kids doing loads of comedy skits about what it's like to grow up in the countryside. And I remember one of us did, I think it was oh yeah, that was it. We did like what's it? Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we got to go to Ghana. It was hilarious. Yeah, we got to go to Ghana because of this. Oh, when I got to go to Ghana at 15, it was amazing. But so I've managed to have quite a lot of awesome experiences because of the work my mum's done. And I kind of turned around to her and I said, how could you be surprised that I would ever turn out any different than what you and dad have both created? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm like, you're giving me all of these things, and like now you're looking at me at 28 years old and you're just like, what have we created? I'm like, this, baby, this. So as a family, we're getting there. I think, again, trying to educate my dad more is something really, really important. But yeah, for my mum, I think she's starting to be a bit more chilled with it, as long as, again, I make sure that she feels safe, because it's important for my mum to feel safe.
Thank you so much. Tashi, Tashi, I think you should read your question, say your question out yourself.
Yeah. Vienna, I would just like to start by saying I think you're amazing. I think it takes a lot of confidence to be able to speak your truth. And I feel that those people that are actively promoting Blackness and Black heritage will always accept you, because you are a part of our community, you are part of our heritage and our life. So I definitely salute you. But my question was, being a woman of dual heritage, you know, do you feel that there is a different experience for mixed race or dual heritage people compared to African people in society regards to experiencing racism? And also, do you feel that having that shared heritage, do you feel that it gives you a little bit more confidence in challenging prejudices in society because you have that shared heritage? So you have that, basically, that white father or white family that you're a part of, and also the Black family, what makes you that maybe sometimes, I don't know, I'm asking the question, a bit more confident in being more proactive with the fight against racism and the inequalities in society?
Amazing. Right, so I'll just break it down. So yes, the the way that mixed heritage people experience racism is different, but it depends, right? Because genetics are a crazy thing. And my family is literally like, we're like, most of my cousins were mixed, right? But like the shade difference is ridiculous. Like some people, I always like to play this game when all of us are together and with my friends, and I'm like, pick which mum is whose mum, right? And I love watching people get it wrong. It's hilarious. But my point is that, so I don't think it matters so much about being mixed. If you throw away the whole mixed thing, it's about skin tone, right? And the thing is that someone who's mixed can be really, really dark skinned, and someone who's mixed could be like me. And it's really a toss-up. So therefore, even within the mixed community, you're going to be having two completely different experiences, right? Because I think what's the latest terms, by the way, I hate these terms, but you've got white passing and black passing, or African passing, right? Again, the kids these days, I hate both of them. I think that if you're mixed, like, why would we be surprised that you would look more like one than the other? It's just genetics at the end of the day. But yeah, so I would definitely say that there is a difference within how both are treated by society, because they almost just push you aside. Do you know what I mean? With regards to how mixed people, again, have experienced racism, again, it's very, I can only speak from my, well, actually no, because my cousin is darker skinned. And so for me, it's always like, oh, your hair looks like that. Like, so like, what are you? And it's just like, well, you know, or it's mostly, when I was younger, it used to be called like a mongrel. It's called like a mongrel, like whitey. At one point, they used to call me the P word that you used to talk about someone who's Pakistani. And I got really confused, and I had to ask my mum. I was like, Mom, is this what I am? She's like, no, Vienna, this is not. And I was like, oh yeah, look, this is what I am. And it was, you know, it showed you how much people kind of were educated in our area. And I think everyone who was different was just called that word. Do you know what I mean? So again, for like me, I think being mixed, it's like, yeah, okay, you can kind of fade into it, but you're never quite white enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're white, but you're not white enough, you know? It's like, oh yeah, but you look a little bit different. So it's like, actually, we're going to put you over here in this like other pile. But at least with someone who's mixed, who's darker skinned, they're like, oh yeah, that person's like of African descent, that person black, you know what I mean? And then you're going to be dealt with as such. But I would definitely say that's kind of the differences. I find as well in the work I've been doing the last few months, my colleague, she's Madagascar, and she's also mixed, but her skin tone is darker than mine. And what I've noticed since she's gone is that people feel like it's like okay to talk a certain way around me. Because this is another thing I've said to people, is that when people look at me, it's like their brain gets tricked and they think that they're talking to a white person. So then they relax, yeah? They're like, oh yeah, okay. There's no POCs around now. Let's just let it all out. And then the thing is I'm like, no, sorry, actually, like, right? And I've noticed a lot of people tend to not really listen to what I have to say anymore, because they're just like, oh, it's another white person who's talking. Especially when it comes to kind of talking about the activism I've been doing. So that's like one part of your bit. And then do you have, right, yes. So with regards to my family, I don't know any of my dad's family. And with regards to because of the relationship is very toxic, very physical relationship. So for me, on my circumstance, I was actually isolated from everyone. So the only experiences that I was having with my family were when they weren't together anymore. But by that point, I think lots of things had kind of happened. So my exposure to that of being kind of white was always just at school, like out and about. Do you know what I mean? I never had like any kind of connection, if that makes sense. You know, I used to spend a lot of time obviously with my auntie and my cousin who lived in Taunton, but not biological, like just auntie, yeah. And they were from Zimbabwe. So again, it was like, so for me, we had our own like little units. And so I wasn't really exposed to kind of that. I would say the way I am with regards to kind of people that I know who are white, I do feel very out of place just naturally, because I think I don't have the same mindset as everybody else. And I think that it's something really interesting that when I'm with my mum's side of the family, oh, it's when your personality fits somewhere. I don't know if you've seen Twilight, and she has to choose, right. So she's got to choose between like Edward and like what's his name, right? But she says it's not about choosing Jake or Edward. It's about choosing who she is.
Do you know what, Chair?
I'm sorry, folks.
I want to say thank you so much. I can't believe you brought Twilight, because that actually makes sense.
Folks. Okay.
So for those who doesn't understand it, that's fine. We would give you some analogy later.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna try and say thank you so much, Vienna. Thank you, Tasha, for that question. I know someone, Uncle Shaka had his hand up. I don't know whether he's still here. But I really need to move to our other speakers. So if Uncle Shaka can make the question really.
It's thank you, but Vienna answered the question. I mean, I was basically just gonna ask if she had ever experienced being mistaken for white and what was her reaction. But in the answer, she basically answered that fairly well. So that's why I put my hand down.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Vienna, I want to say thank you so much. You have exceeded expectation as always. And girlfriend, you are African, man. You're African. I take you. You're there. Don't worry. I accept you. In fact, I can probably tell you I'm somewhere from Nigeria if you want to. So don't worry about it. We can have a conversation with your dad another day. Don't worry about that. Also, get the queens on him a little bit. Don't worry. But want to say thank you. Can I get everybody to just give some like signs of claps for Vienna to just celebrate what she's brought to the table. Thank you so much. I have got the pleasure to introduce Gwenton. Am I correct, Auntie Jean?
Yes, I thought he was going to call Ibrahim first, though.
Okay, I'm going to call Ibs. No. I'm going to call Ibs first. Actually, this young king I'm about to invite into the space is phenomenal, from Justice for Black Lives, doing some great stuff in the community. I see his strengths and literally just understand why we fight every day. And Brother Ibrahim, would you like to just take center stage?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Let me know
Yes,
if you
we
can hear me.
can.
My sound is okay. Cool. Yeah, thank you for having me today. It's actually I'm really sorry that I couldn't actually like give my full time to this. Like, I really apologize. Like, it's been a busy day. Like essentially, so I'm actually speaking on behalf of House of Shango, which is an organization who are based in Brixton, and they run a food project out of Brixton. They are squatters, so they've been using derelict buildings to run community projects out of them. And today, actually, they got served their papers to leave their building. So I'm actually on lookout right now to make sure that we're not going to get raided anytime soon. But yeah, thank you for having us. And yeah, I guess today I'm going to keep it really brief and just like really speak about what we're doing tomorrow. And if anybody is in London, I would appreciate if you could come down tomorrow. So if you haven't heard, there's been a lot of protests recently, mostly against the Police Crime and Sentencing Bill, which is a bill that will increase police powers that has been issued by the Home Office. Essentially, it will increase powers for the police in how they police their communities. It will increase powers in terms of trespass laws. It will increase their ability for the police to put tags on people if they've committed acts of theft or armed robbery, and these tags can be left on for an undisclosed amount of time. So this is really what we've been fighting against, because essentially they're trying to curb our ability and our rights to protest, which, if you know anything about Justice for Black Lives and House of Shango, that is our main theory of change, is that we believe that our main way of creating changes is by mobilizing African peoples in fight against increasing police powers and against the state and state violence in itself. So tomorrow we're working with some organizers based in Brixton, some organizers who actually worked on the anti-gentrification campaign called Reclaim Brixton back in 2012. Forgive me if I say the wrong year. So yeah, that's really our focus, and it's called the Carnival of Resistance. So tomorrow in Ring Ross Square, we're going to be meeting up between 8 and 10. We've got some reggaeton buses, some samba buses, some Latin communities coming and meeting us. We also got some African drummers and some people with some reggae sound systems coming as well. And the idea is we're going to be doing a parade, because this peace, crime and sentencing bill, essentially, a main part of it is about how they police protests, and they are arguing that that essentially, if a protest makes too much nuisance and too much noise, then they can shut it down, whether or not it's been given a permit or not. So we're going out in London tomorrow, and we're going to go create a lot of noise in the only way that we, as Afro-Latino and as Caribbean people and as African peoples, know. We're going to be celebrating our culture, dancing, singing, and enjoying what it is to be African peoples. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody is available, I would really, really appreciate it. And the House of Shango as well would really, really appreciate as many people to come down. I know that obviously, not obviously, but I know that tomorrow is also a holiday for the Rastafari community. So I know that some of the people who are actually in the school today won't be able to make it because they're going to Bath. And blessings to you. I hope you have a joyous and honorable day, I guess. But if anybody does come, please bring drums, shakers, maracas, drums. I say drums again. We just want to make sure that, like, we're coming on a warpath, you know, like, we may be anti-war, but we are definitely playing anti-war drums, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, I have to keep it brief, unfortunately, because I have to go back on lookout. But yeah, power to the people, black power, black is beautiful. Thank you, Marvin.
Thank you so much, Ibs. There's a power that comes with Ibs. He protects. If ever you've been in his presence when you're in a protest, he protects everybody and looks out for everyone. So please, if you're in London tomorrow, the flyer is on. We can share that in the Garvey village later on. Please do try and see if you can share that to all your network. Try and get as much people. You can bring pans. You know, like, you can make noise with pans if you don't have any drums, but bring something and take part. Thank you so much. Let's invite Uncle Gwenton to speak now. Is he available?
Yeah, Gwenton is there.
Gwenton. Yeah, thanks.
Blessing everyone and good evening, first of all, and thanks for the platform as usual. So what I want to talk about today is something very important, because sometimes we're given the opportunity to make a difference and we don't take it, and then in the end we end up complaining after. So for those of you that have followed my journey and understand what I'm about to undertake in the next 7 days, in 2019, I ran a by-election in Catford in an area called Whitefoot, and the Green Party decided that they want me to win, so they decided not to stand against me. And with 2 months practice, we came fourth. At that time, I said, I'm finished with politics. Someone else in the community could pick up the mantle and I will support them. I then got a call from different people within the community 2 months ago demanding that I give it another go and run in an area of New Cross. A lot of people take the area of Lewisham for granted and don't understand the history that comes with, especially across the road from where I'm running, in an area called Deptford, which is just bordering New Cross, where there's still a legacy of slavery and our ancestors hearing those waters slapping against those tides and as they were leaving or coming into this country. So when people have this thing about Windrush, there's been Black people in this country from the Victorian times. It's just that we allow this narrative to go on that we've only been here from the Windrush season. People came here against their will and suffered. There's still blood embedded in these concretes that are still here, that our ancestors has left behind. So sometimes when it's time for us to step up and make a difference, as we've heard from the young lady earlier, it's not about looking to the person next to you to march first. You have to march first. As I said, on the 6th of May, which is next week, fast approaching, there will be time for everyone in the community to go out and vote for change, because for far too long, we've been religiously voting or religiously joining parties. And after decades of being a member of these parties, we can't see any results of why we're a part of these parties, but we still stay there. So what I'm asking everyone in the community to do is go out and put your name down for change. And if you don't, and you get more of the same, please stop complaining. And I'm gonna say it as clear as that. Within our community, we like to blame people. We like to complain about people. Don't complain about anyone anymore, whether it's the housing, immigration, the MP, the councillor. Don't complain about nothing, because when it's time for people to be stand up and counted, everyone has lip service. But when it's time to march forward, everyone's waiting for someone else to march forward. Yeah? So this is the year of change. We've just come out of being hostages, which they've called lockdown. Meanwhile, they tamper with the city and put plant pots up and whatever else they were doing. Meanwhile, we were locked in the house. Now we're out here. It's time for change. And if there's anyone else in the community trying to make change, let's get behind them and stop waiting for someone else to march first. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, King. Uncle, you're just amazing. Please share any posters and stuff so we can put that on our profiles, so we can let people know. If there's any links to any of your speeches, let's share that around and let's get everyone voting. While you're there, Uncle, let me ask you a question. What should we be looking out for as a fundamental foundation to equip us to vote for the right people, for our people?
When you go out to vote, look for someone that is allowed to speak up for you. I'll repeat that again, allowed. These politicians that knock your door with smiles and taking pictures and putting them on Instagram when they're outside your house, they can't speak for you. It's not for you to then get angry with these individuals once they get in power, because you've enabled them to go there. They are hostages by default within their positions. So we must no longer get angry with politicians, because we know they're unable to help us. Even if they look like us or talk like us or pretend to care about our needs, such as Windrush, yet then we're still seeing people that have been here for decades not have their papers in line. Instead, they're being offered indefinite leave. Meanwhile, these politicians that pretend to be for the community continue to give us lip service to delay time so they get another spin in power, because that's what this is all about. They will get excited and get you excited and make you think that they love you. When it's coming to the end of their time and it's about time to vote again, they might do something that impresses you. But if you look at the track record, what have they really done? Nothing. So that is what I'm going to tell everyone going forward. When you're voting for people, make sure you vote with your brains, not your heart, because people pull at your heartstring. A councillor gets £70,000 plus expenses a year. How many of that money, taxpayers' money, are those the MPs allowed to give back or want to give back? The councillors will get 16,000 a year plus expenses, or depending on what position they are. None of them has ever offered to give back nothing to the community. But yet then we continue voting for these people. Meanwhile, they're living luxury lives and taking photos of you as if you're in a zoo and posting them online to say, look what we've done with the community. Look how stupid they are. This is what they're saying when they've got you standing in those pictures. The mayor gets up to £85,000. And we're not talking his expenses. Yeah, between 75 and 85,000 pounds. The chief exec of Lewisham Council gets 175,000 pounds. 175,000 pounds. But no one thinks, let's invest in a building where the elders and the young people could go and have a place where they could go and share their knowledge and support each other. But yet then they will snatch the Garvey village from under our feet because there's no one in the house to put their hands up and say, I do not agree with this. Why is that? Because everybody in Lewisham is Labour. The mayor is Labour, the MP is Labour, the councillor, all of them are Labour. So they're all friends, holding hands and drinking cups of tea, meanwhile laughing at us in the community. Meanwhile, our elders are trapped in the house, nowhere to go. The young people don't have nowhere to go where they feel safe. It's ridiculous. But yet then we're even thinking of voting for these people again and think that we've done something good. It's sad to see that we're still hostages and slaves in 2021, because that's what we are. We are still slaves. Our minds are enslaved, and we physically are enslaved because we sit there with the power to bring about change. And instead, we go and join these people's ships and pretend that we're in there, in the house, doing something good. We're not doing nothing good because we have got no power to bring about change. And what I'm doing here is just raising awareness. This isn't about me. And I want everyone to understand that what I'm about to do here is bigger than me. Since I started running, the biggest theme that has come to me is, Gwenton, please, we're begging you on our knees. Go and ask them what has happened in the New Cross fire, because we're still waiting for justice. But yet then we're still electing people in that don't care. And we're talking about the New Cross fire. 2 years ago, we had the 8-year-old burned to death in his bed, 2 roads away from the New Cross fire. And his mum still hasn't had justice. But yet then we're gonna vote other people in that's gonna sit there and watch babies dying in their bed. We need to stop this. We need to stop, because enough's enough. And it comes a time where someone has to take a stand. I was harassed for nearly 2 years for speaking out against the death of that young man. How many other people in the community will dare to go through that? Where the people are trying to mentally break you, financially break you, and you still stand up strong in that and say, you know what, I'm not leaving. No matter what you do, I am not going nowhere. So we need to understand this now and stand up and be counted, and stop just having our own little meetings in our own little corner, and let the people see we're here. We're not afraid of you. We're visible. I don't mind to stand forward and go first, but what I'm saying is I can't do this alone. If the community is not behind me, it don't make sense. And I'll end on that point.
Thank you so much, Uncle. One of the things you said is not all skin folks are keen folks. That's a very important thing. Another thing that was said there is that I think Uncle, I know Uncle Shaka had his hand up, so there's something unique about you running. And one of the unique things you said, I don't know if they all know, you talked about reinvesting in the community. What is a vote for you for New Cross going to be for our community, in your own words, because people are going to be watching this and listening to it? What are some of your plans that you're going to do straight away based on you being elected?
The minute that I'm elected, what I'm going to demand is transparency. There's nothing more powerful than transparency. If you can't see what people are doing behind closed doors, then you continue be dictated to. So I want transparency immediately. The next thing I want is for us to identify a building that we could go and take back. And I will put the first bit of money towards that building and demand that the other councillors and MPs in the area also contribute. And if they don't, it's for the community as well to support me to make sure that they understand that we are not going to accept this anymore. Because if the mayor's getting 75,000, he could at least give back 5 of that to the community. How many people in the community will ever see £75,000 a year? And as someone's just put in there, hold me accountable as well. You understand? Because this is what we don't do. We sit back and think, oh no, Now you're in there. I don't hold me accountable. And that's my pledge to you. As soon as I get in there, I'm going to be asking some questions and check my track record. Because win or lose, I'm still going to do what I'm doing. I've been doing what I'm doing. I'm a part of the Garvey Village Management Committee for a reason. I'm not just there for lip service. So win or lose, it's going to happen. What I'm saying to you is, let's do this on a different paradigm, where we go in the house and object to every single thing that we're not happy with. And then hopefully next year, we've got someone else that feels inspired and empowered to come and run. So we've got 2 people raising their hands in there to say, no, we're not happy with that. And the other people from Labour that have wanted to raise their hands and object, but because they're scared, now feel comfortable because there's someone else in there to say no along with them, without them being bullied by their friends.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Uncle Shaka.
Thank you. And firstly, I just want to, it's just more a series of comments, if you will indulge me. And firstly, I want to say I appreciate Brother Gwenton so much because, you know, he stood for the Whitefoot seat. And in a sense, there wasn't much people really pulling for him in the community. And he still got, as far as I'm concerned, an excellent result. But, you know, I think there's 2 things that we have to do as a community. And one is what Auntie Jean and the team do every Friday and Sunday, which is doing for ourselves and networking and building our community. But the second, and Gwenton is absolutely right, we have to get more politically active. You know, for too long, we see that politics has failed our community, and it has failed our community. But the reality is that politics is going to continue, regardless of whether we believe in it or not. And so it makes no sense being on the sidelines. It makes absolutely no sense being on the sidelines. Now, I'm not saying that you should, you know, because Gwenton is, for me, deserves 100% respect for putting himself out there. But what we can do is when he's out there, we can campaign for him. We can tell our friends and family, vote for this guy. What we can do is we can be showing the councillors we're not tolerating this. And let's think beyond this, because beyond this, right, what they need to be understanding is that we're a community that are not going to tolerate this. So what does that mean? It means, first of all, turning out and supporting our brother Gwenton next week, Thursday, firstly. Secondly, it means contacting your councillors. Let me ask you, do you even know who your local councillors are? Or are they just a faceless person that you vote for every single time? And then you want to moan about them? Contact your councillors, write to them. Tell them you're not happy about certain things, like the Lewisham Triangle, like the Calabash, like the African Caribbean services being taken away by the council. These guys, they take our votes, and they take our votes for granted, and we allow them to do it. We allow them to abuse us. We need to stop the abuse. We need to start getting more politically active. And don't be ashamed to say that, because, you know, the Black Panthers understood this. And so they wasn't just the revolutionary movement, they were a political movement as well. So we shouldn't be ashamed to think like this and to want to act like this. Let's support Brother Gwenton on Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that.
Well said, Shaka.
Thank you. Well said. Auntie Amma. Sorry, I'm dyslexic. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. My goodness. I was hiding away until I heard Gwenton speak, and I tell you, my heart is pumping. Right? When this, I call him young because I'm sure I'm older than he is. When he turns around, he has got to see his community right there behind him. When he turns around, he's got to see his community standing right there behind him. All has been said, all the things I want to say have already been said. But Ayiko, Gwenton, and please, when he turns around, make sure that you are all standing there behind him.
Yes, Shay.
Lionheart to move forward. And he should not be going forward alone. We send our warriors to the lion's den unprotected. That is not good. That is not good. We need to send them in there knowing that they are not just covered by the ancestors, but we are there. We are attending the council meetings. We can take turns and report back, feedback. Even if we haven't got organization, we can feed back to let people know what going. Much love to you, Gwenton, and I wish you well for Thursday. When he turns around, please let us be sure that he is looking right in our eyes and feeling that power. Thank you.
Yes, Shay.
Shay.
Thank you, Sister Emma.
And that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for nothing else. I'll play my part. Everybody else plays theirs. It's as simple as that. Yeah, we've all got a role to play here. Let's stop the complaining. I don't mind putting myself in the firing line because this is what this is, not a joke. Yeah, I don't mind doing that. Because if this is my calling and this is what I'm meant to do, I'm ready to go. But people need to understand that this is all of our fight here. We ain't got no time to lie down. Yeah? No time to lie down. There might not be another person like me with this fire. So understand that if this fire that I've got right now is passing on and spreading to another person in the community, my job's done. Because sometimes we need someone to come and say, listen, enough of this now. Enough. We've had 2 bodies drop in Lewisham in 2 weeks. 2 of our own little children are dead in 2 weeks. 2 of them have gone to prison, one with his mom and next one with his friend. Why? Because they can't see no one that look like them that could take them out of the trap. Come on. It's time for change. We don't even have to talk. We know what we have to do.
Thank you so much, Uncle Gwenton. I've got Uncle Royston. Well, I'm just keeping an eye on time, but Uncle Royston.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge you, Gwenton, your heart, your commitment, your passion, the things that you've been through, the things that the system has thrown at you over a period of time. And still you stand and still you rise. I just want to acknowledge you, my brother, you know, that you're a rock and an example for us men in the community in terms of what's required to stand as a king. So respect to you, brother, and you know, all good wishes for next week. All good wishes for next week. Yeah, and thank you for stepping up and showing yourself. Love you like a
Royston,
brother.
and
yes.
always pay homage as well, because you've had my back throughout what's going on. So certain time, that's all you need is someone to say, you know what, regardless of whatever, I'm here. So it's what it is. So still pay homage regardless.
Thank you. I've got Brother Nat.
Yes, well, greetings everyone. It was just quick. It was just literally repeating from Sister Amma to Uncle Royston. I'm not a big, I'm sure from people that know me, I'm not a big really fan of the European government system. That's different to politics. I think we are African, so well, we're African, so we are politicized. So whether you like it or not, you're involved in politics. But I did want to just pay homage to my brother, despite that I give trying to fight the system, unless it's reparations, 20%. 80% is on rebuilding and nation building for the 1.8 billion Africans around the world. But I fully understand that, you know, the works that you've done, you know, I see how much it damages our people going into that hellfire. So yeah, I just want to stand in solidarity. We'll try and I know I've got a feeling, Big Brother Gwenton, that you're linked in with Sister Shanice. So I'll liaise with her even more to try and build up to, what is it, next
week Thursday. And just to touch on a point that you just raised there, one of the things that I'll be looking at going forward is traveling down to Bristol and looking at best practice in Bristol, how they've gone about doing their reparations down there. Because you can't rely on these people in Lewisham to even think about that. Why would they? You understand? They're all career politicians trying to become famous. They all want to become the deputy mayor or some nonsense. That's all you see is shuffling of them within their little group of mates. Everyone wants to get in the house, and it's like, what's the point? You understand? If I want to be an MP, I'll just run against you, because the party that I'm with, they're not gonna spank me, discipline me, send me up north because I've spoken about injustice. So I'm free to say whatever I want and call out whatever I want. And Bristol is showing us that we can get things moving forward, but we have to do for self, because right now there's nobody in the Labour Party that is going to travel down to Bristol and start having conversations about reparation. It is not in their best benefit.
With the greatest respect, Brother Gwenton, I think we need to have done that conversation. The left wing or the right wing is part of the same chicken. And the thing is that this is a chessboard. There are pawns on there. You'll be one of them. And you either play your role or you agitate, and they will try and knock you off the chessboard. So the way I see it is, I kind of feel for Tony Saul. He probably meant well at the beginning, Kemi Bernadotte. They probably meant well at the beginning, but slowly and slowly, they had to either make a decision, risk your life and your capital and your little bit of privilege, or be cascaded from the whole thing and be an agitator and affect your mental health, physical health, and spiritual health. So even more reason why we need to go behind you. But I'll kind of, Labour, there's no point in saying, oh, Labour are not going to blah, 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 in my opinion, because we know that they are part of the system. The system makes you who you are, unless you rebuke it and rise up. Simple as that. So I stand behind you because I've heard you. But as for the other people, I kind of think, oh, bless them. They're just playing their role, my bro. They're just part of the system. If you're a chess piece, then you play the role of continuing the oppression of your people. We perpetuate racism. That's what we do. But it's because we coerce and we acquiesce with the system. If we decided to govern ourselves and set up like City of London or the Jews up in north of London, then, you know, we would have our own police, courts, and so forth. But we got to come from all angles. So I respect your angle and respect this movement, and I'll try and get down on the Thursday and build that momentum on Galaxy. So I'll look to ring up, and got to speak to Dr. Abu and Chief anyway, because next Saturday probably would like to have you. We're covering for Sister Shanice, so myself and Dr. Abu probably want to hear the aftermath. So it's not come Thursday, things will go quiet. Let's keep the momentum. Come link in on Thursday on Galaxy, and we keep that momentum going. But I yield. Give thanks as well. Look to be there.
Thank you.
Listen, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. What an evening. Wow. I think we've heard it all. Brother Gwenton, I want to just say thank you so much for coming in. Thanks for your strength. Thanks for your wisdom. Thanks for your power. Thanks for all the love you've given to Garvey Village. Thanks for your work you do with young people unapologetically. Thanks for constantly giving into our community, celebrating and speaking life into when no one was doing some of those work. Thanks for creating space, and thanks for taking time. We appreciate you more than you can imagine. So thank you.
Hey.
Blessing and love. Thanks for having me. And regardless of whatever happened, the mission still continues.
You're still our king. We still celebrate you all day, every day. But before I pass it on to Auntie Jean to close, I also wanted to pay tribute to a young person who I was privileged to go to their funeral today. It's a young man that you must have heard a lot about when he went missing in Epping Forest. And that's Richard. I think we can honor his life and honor his experience. And Auntie, I would like to pass it on to you, but I would ask if we can just take a moment to just speak life into his family, his mother, as she's going through a very hard time this moment. But this is what our systems are, and this is why we need to acknowledge supporting our young people and supporting families. Richard, we love you and we appreciate you.
Ashe.
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 Rest in power.
Auntie, I think it's over to you now.
I was just taking a moment of silence.
Okay.
Ashe, 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 oh.
Ashe.
Please unmute everyone and say ashe, ashe, ashe. Oh. 1, 2, 3, everyone on.
Ashe.
Ashe, 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 oh. Thank you. Thank you, Shiz. And thank you so much, Sister Marvina. Done it again. Well done. And Gwenton, if you're free anytime on Sunday between 7 and 11, feel free to pop in on the African Culture Market and speak your talk again, okay? So
Okay. See
no
you
matter,
Sunday.
yeah, see you Sunday,
Yeah?
no matter
Okay.
what. Brilliant. Brother Royston, you bang under the mango tree tomorrow, or is this doctor still in the house? You like to talk about under the mango tree?
Greetings, family.
Greetings, sis.
Greetings. Yes, yes, yes. Please forgive my not having my camera on. I'm in a location where it's not appropriate to do so. What a powerful evening. Yeah, I'm just blown away by the works of the Garvey village, and I give thanks. Once again, Under the Mango Tree will take place tomorrow. It happens on the 1st and 3rd Saturday of every month. It is a fundraising initiative. And Under the Mango Tree, we meet as Black people to talk about the things that we don't talk about, you know? It's as simple as that. So there is a gate man at the door just to make sure everybody all right. And we declare the particular topic on the night, and we eat ripe mangoes, and the juice runs down your arm onto your elbow, and people don't want to leave at the end of the evening. So please, please, please join us. I don't know if anyone can put up the flyer to let people know how to access. I don't know if Brother Royston, you can put up the flyer so people know what to do, but we will be there and we look forward to seeing you all.
Right, Sis Doctor, I've put the information into the chat.
Give thanks, Shez, yes.
Putting it through the night, so yeah, it's there.
All righty. So yes, from 5 to 8, 1st and 3rd Saturday of every month, we will be there to talk about and chat about what we don't often chat about. Give thanks.
Give thanks.
What's so funny? What's so funny?
I'm cheering on.
Okay, all right. Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry, Auntie Jean.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
Black people have no behavior. And it's even worse under the mango tree. Yeah,
oh God. And we have Sister Kasheni. Sister Kasheni in the house. You like to talk about what's going to happen on the, I believe it's the 9th of May? Just brief.
Hi there, give thanks. Give me a second, I'm just making my screen a little bit wider so that I can be seen. So yes, we are having our Ancestral Mothers session on, okay, yes, grand evening all. Grand evening all. Yes, we're having our Ancestral Mothers Spiritual Heritage session on next Sunday, the 9th of May, and it's a special one. Two great mothers are going to be presenting. The first is about the Majesties of Haiti, are the first and last Queen of Haiti, Queen Marie-Louise Christophe, who actually was in London. She came through London, she went through a number of European cities and settled in Pisa after the Haitian Revolution, and she left Haiti, and that's where she passed. So we are looking at her heritage, and her birthday is actually on Saturday the 8th, and on the same day, it is said, is Empress, Empress Félicité, wife of Dessalines, who lived to 114 years, I think it is, I may be wrong. And the first empress and last empress of Haiti. So it's the spiritual majesty of the African woman. What does that mean? And that is being presented, those two women and more is being presented by none other than our elder Ma, Professor Baina Bello from Haiti. And it's a real time that we are acknowledging these elements in our culture. We are not just magicians in the background. It's part of our liberation and, of course, the revolution as a reference from Haiti. And then we're going to come forward somewhat with Mame Amagay, who has a special message that is now published, and that is the message from Queen Mother Ya Asantewa, who through Mame Amagay is giving us a direct message, and that tells us that the spirit of that womanhood, that aspect is never lost. It comes through anyway. And also the message of an elder even before Ya Santua, 400 years before, a priest, a Comfo Anoche. So these are elements to celebrate in our culture and to recognize them in ourselves. So we really look forward to those moments. So that is a special Auntie Jean Culture Market session on Sunday the 9th at 7, and do join us and register. It's a celebration, it's an education, it's an acknowledgement of those innate powers that we as women have, also men. We're not going to ignore you either, because you have it too, and it's special all round. Thank you.
Give thanks, give thanks. And Arthur Tomlinson, talk about the pyramid. Do you have a Monday?
Hi everybody. We're starting. Well, we're going back to 1, 2, and 1 and 2 on Monday, and we will be starting the round 3. So we will have the following week. We will be doing 1, 2, and 3 all in a row. You guys talk to the people that are already on it, see what they think. You're missing out if you're not there. Come and see what we're doing. The first module is completely free. See you on Monday.
Give thanks. And
Bye.
thank you. Aniana? Aniana, would you like to tell us what we'll need for when you do your presentation?
Ah, right, sorry, okay. So the presentation, we're going to talk about Biafra, and we're going to be looking at some of the cultural and traditions. So kola nut is one of the items of welcome. So ideally, if everybody could try and buy some kola nut from the local Afro-Caribbean market store. I don't know how much they are. You could also purchase garden egg, which is very small aubergine egg-looking pumpkin or melon, and it's eaten raw. And that is broken when someone important visits you as a form of welcoming to your home. And it's also used for obviously cultural events and special occasions, and has a particular meaning. There are several different types of kola nut. That will be, we will go into that. But the evening as well, we'll be talking about some of the incidences that's going on and happening in Nigeria, where it appears it is on the verge of civil war, although people haven't heard about it, but there is killings, mass killings have been going on, torture, kidnapping. Anybody who dissents or has an opinion or speaks against Buhari is in danger. And I think it's important that we look at what we can do to highlight the injustice and the inhumanity that is actually going on. And they are targeting, in particular, the young people. The average age of Nigerians is 22. And as we know about the SARS that came out before, it's actually escalated. It hasn't gone away. It's turned up. We have Boko Haram that's now moved into Imo State. Yesterday, 70 people were massacred. The day before, 7 graduates in the university compound was shot in broad daylight. People are being rounded up and flogged in the street. There's bombings going on. It is incredible that the eyes of the world is not reporting this. So I'm going to have a bit more information. I'll be hopefully able to present. And if I can get someone who is on the ground there to join and give more of a detailed account, I'll try and arrange that as well. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sister Aniana. When are you doing the presentation? It'd be great to know.
It's the 14th of May.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, just making sure, just checking with you. All right, thank you.
And can you repeat, because basically what Aniana wants to do is let everybody join in. So that's why she was asking for you to get a kola nut. Repeat, what is it you'd like people to get? Kola nut.
Kola nut is what, they make Coca-Cola from that.
Mm-hmm.
But kola nut is like a kidney-shaped purplish in color.
In Jamaica, I think they call it busy.
That's right, yes. You dry it and you grate it. In Igbo culture, we eat it fresh. We make Igbo salad with it, with the garden egg as well. All of this is obviously good for you. But that's what you should go and try and buy a piece of one of that, and we'll break that in Igbo tradition as I open up the discussion.
Okay, is it one kola nut they'll need?
Yeah, they just need to break one.
Okay.
You know,
And
the
anyone,
shop-
because you have 4 segments, you have 3 segments, you have 2 segments.
Well, normally it breaks in half, but
Okay,
you know, you
so
can,
2 segment one.
yeah, you can chop it up if you like. Yes.
Okay.
Also, there was a question: is it white or red kola nut?
That's a matter of preference, but I'm used to the red one.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And Anya, the garden egg is the yellow garden egg, isn't it?
That's right. It's the creamy.
It's called egg.
Yeah, it's actually, you can have the green one as well, but the one I'm used to is the creamy whitish yellowish one.
That's eggplant, for who don't know. It's talking about garden egg or eggplant, as
Yeah,
they call it.
it's right. So the eggplant or garden egg, tomato, is small, egg shape, hence the name. Because obviously the gourds come in all different shapes and sizes. So it's that particular garden egg. And I think they sell it as garden egg. Yeah.
Thank you. We're looking forward to seeing you on the 14th.
Definitely.
On the Garvey village. Give thanks.
Give thanks.
And I'd like to say, everybody, that we got a special on this week's Sunday as well with our very own Elder Vasco Stevenson. And he's going to be talking about the timeline from 1776, I think, up until the future. So he's going to be talking about the timeline, which will be very, very interesting. And also we'll see again our brother Gwenton Sloley. So a big, big thank you to our brother Ibrahim, working out there, doing the fields as usual. Big, big also thank you to Vienna. Thank you for your bravery and opening out to us. Very insightful. Thank you. And also for Tashi and her wonderful son, Cairo. And look out for his products. Yeah, look out for the website. I think of the information was actually put into the chat. And also, last but not least, our brother Gwenton, and everybody wish him good luck. Everybody knows, if anybody knows anybody in New Cross, tell them who they need to vote for. Gwenton Sloley. He's the only one who actually cares. You can see how much he cares. He talks from the heart and he works same way from the heart. So big, big thank you. And the flyer, I put the flyer in that you can download to your device for what Ibrahim was talking about for tomorrow in Brixton. I think it's called is it the Carnival? The Brixton Carnival, was a Carnival March they're doing for the first of the day, May Day March, I think they're called, May Day March Carnival.
Carnival of Resistance, aren't you, Jane?
Yeah, okay, thank you. I know, so I can rely on you. So a big, big thank you to everybody, and a massive, massive, massive big thank you to our very own Marvina. Marvina, last words, please. Woo, 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 woo.
It is an honor to serve the Garvey village. It's an honor to be in your presence. I am humbled by the speakers, the young people, and the community. I would love your help and to get more young people from your community, from your own little villages, to come into our village and share Black African excellence in every way you can. Next event is the last Friday. What's the last Friday of next month? Don't know yet, but it's the last Friday of May. So I need you to send me some of those details. Let me know some of your young people. Let's put them on center stage. Let's get to know. Sorry, Auntie?
28th.
28th of May. You know where you need to be. This is the Garvey village, no matter what. Just make sure you come into the space and let's celebrate young people in every way. Definitely NSARS all day, every day. To Auntie, anywhere I can support, I will connect you with NSARS UK if you need that. But thank you, Auntie Jean. Thank you, Auntie Patricia. Thank you, Uncle Galactic Clyde. Thank you, Auntie Chairs. I've got a family, man. Young people, let me explain. Serving the community and learning from your elders is the best gift you can get. Be honest to you, spiritually, Auntie Christiani, thank you. Definitely make sure you guys should go to that and learn about spirituality. Young people, learn about your spirituality, learn about your ancestors, learn the culture. Be honest to you, the only reason I'm getting all this flyness is because I'm learning and I'm growing and I'm being torn apart and I'm being built back up again. You need to unlearn, and this is the space for it. Big up to Garvey Village. It's all about the love. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Blessings, blessings.
Okay, peace. And with that, I wish everybody, thank you for listening in on Black Culture Radio, which is the Auntie Jean Zone of Black Culture Radio, which is all the W's, blackcultureradio.com. You'll be able to listen in also again on Sunday. If you're not able to join us via Zoom or Facebook, you can listen in onto Black Culture Radio. So thank you for all the listeners listening in there. Thank you for everybody who's watching on Facebook. And thank you for everybody who's joined us here this evening. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And remember, if you live in New Cross, you know who to vote for. Please, people.
Uncle Gwenton.
Yes. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, people. Good night.
Good night.
You have a
Good night.
fabulous
Good night, John Boy.
everybody. Thank
Good night.
You're welcome.
Good night,
Bye. Good
Good
night.
night. Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Good night. Good night, all. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Love you, Auntie Christiani.
Oh,
Love
wait
you.
for John Boy.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
All right, good night.
Good night, Sister
Good
Christiani.
night.
Good night. Ah.
Good night. Oh.